under attack. Well, as I said earlier on, we are celebrating African Liberation Day. That's what we know it as. I know there's quite a number of Africans, a number of Dominicans, Rastafari from Dominica. They are actually having their pieces put in together for this day. I don't know if you saw the big, walkthrough today.
Yeah, I've been following. One of the main themes of African Liberation Day this year is celebrating the life and times of the Captain Ibrahim Traoré, that is the president of Burkina Faso.
Popular leader now in Africa, asking for one Africa. We have been hearing that for a long time. Even President Muammar Gaddafi was asking for one currency, one Africa. And we know what was the outcome of the life of Muammar Gaddafi.
Well, they're still looking for weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
In Iraq, yeah.
And and one of the
told
things
us that Saddam Hussein had quite a lot of that. That's President Bush.
Right. And for instance, one of the when I was looking at a documentary, it was one of the things that Gaddafi wanted to do was to set up an African bank.
Yes.
Right, and I don't know where you know one of the proposed location was supposed to be, So, but Burkina Faso is located in West Africa, specifically in the central part of the hump, and it is surrounded by several countries: Mali to the north, and West Niger to the east, Benin and Togo to the south, east, Ghana to the south, and Ivory Coast to the southwest. You've been hearing what's been happening in Ivory Coast as well? Well, basically, I'm hearing about military takeover in Ivory Coast.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I've not been following the story in its entirety, so I don't want to speak.
Well, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I've seen the news, but I'm just telling you that one of the main things, I saw the Rastafarians in Jamaica. They were celebrating African Liberation Day, and the main theme was Ibrahim Traoré. And then I heard...
even in Dominica too.
Even our boy who was here with the show was on radio with Sister Nat, giving his support to Ibrahim.
That is a powerful young man. My fear is what the West is going to do.
Well, there have been several coup d'etats, attempted coup d'etats.
Powerful young man,
Right, because you know that...
And what is good about it, many African leaders are actually surrounding him,
right,
as a new blood to really
a new
help.
emerging force.
A new emerging force.
But the French colonialism, because the French that was there.
Yes.
And of course, you know how it is. I mean, these countries have a lot of minerals.
And what is good about him is that the people, are actually helping to build his charisma and his leadership skill that he has. He has a way of getting the rest of the world to listen to him
and pay attention.
Yes, and that's important.
So that's a very important thing. So we're following the people are around the world following. We in Dominica we're following, and I'm seeing a lot of people, even in the United States, even in Europe, they're following all around the world. So let's see what happens.
As we speak about African Liberation Day, we'll remember, I'm not so sure how much involvement that you were in the period of the 80s and 90s, when we as young men spoke highly of the, well, I should say 80s more or less, because he got freed in 1989 thereabout. That's Nelson Mandela. You heard quite a lot of us as young boys, in the Caribbean, in Grenada, in Jamaica, in St. Lucia, in Antigua. We were shouting loudly for the liberation of Nelson Mandela, who was in jail for some 27 years.
And do you know that many Dominicans were being trained in Libya?
Yes, that I'm aware of.
And then not only that, quite a few Dominicans moved on to Angola to fight in the legal struggle in Angola.
We have to remember that the Cubans were spearheading the liberation of Angola. You know, when the South Africans were actually really taking charge of Angola, the Cubans went in
brigade
and really made the difference and allow the South Africans to move away from Angola.
And not only that, quite a number of small island states participated.
Yes.
And I know quite a number of Dominicans who went to Libya to be trained. It's in the history, you know. You can't run away from that. It's in the history. Many fellas moved from Malta.
Many of us moved from, as you said, from England to Malta to Egypt.
To the Mediterranean Sea, through
Egypt, then to get into
Libya. You know? So the struggle, you know,
lived under the tent for a number of months. Right. So,
and you know what they call the Mutaba.
Yes, the Mutaba was the parliament.
Yeah, the Mutaba, but they were responsible for a lot of people from the Caribbean and Africa and other countries.
So did you go by any chance to Libya? No.
I did, but I can't tell you. In fact, I studied in Malta, but I wouldn't extend the horizon to you. But that's why I did my second.
Anyone who would have gone to Malta would have for sure get an opportunity to go to.
It's just about half an hour, 45 minutes.
45 minutes to be exact.
From you take the ferry.
Yes.
And you move across.
Yes.
The Mediterranean Sea.
Yes.
You just go straight across.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting period. So when we talk about African liberation,
in that period, you know, you saw that the West was actually putting restriction on the airspace of the Mediterranean. You know, people couldn't fly across to Libya freely as they wanted.
Right.
You know, so that was a
very interesting
period.
Very interesting period.
So those of us who have been through that period would know and understand.
Let me throw a question. Have you ever been to Libya?
Well, of course.
I just asked you, Cecil. Yeah, boy, that's another thing.
Just after Sogo Fly.
Yeah, he was there.
Sogo Fly went to Libya himself.
And also, we had another policeman who was there, Hildreth Johnson.
Yes.
Was up there.
Yeah, Hildreth was there for some time.
Quite a while.
Yeah, Hildreth was there for some time.
Quite a while. Yeah. We have another brief event I just want to highlight before we call our partner there.
Yes.
Today there was a church service in Grand Fond.
Yes.
For the 70th anniversary for the Labour Party.
Actually, the Labour Party celebrated 70 years yesterday. The 24th was actually the 70th birthday of the existence, if we can say that, of the Dominica Labour Party. We know that Sean Alfred and
Emmanuel
Leblanc, you know, actually established the Dominica Labour Party, and they worked quite well together as individuals, because Emmanuel Leblanc came from the Labour movement. Remember, he set up the Labour movement in 1945.
Right.
And having to visit England on 2 occasions, he met with Sean
and there's a big actually he's a stone build. He came from Granby, but there's a very interesting story when he went to England. Did you ever hear about that story?
I know that story. I'm not going to talk about it.
He saw a particular thing, and then when he came back, you know, it was all about Big Ben. Yes. That's the big clock in London. But that's another story.
In the heart of London.
Yeah, in the heart of London. But I used to.
But what was great about it is that after getting to London, meeting with Sean, they had discussions and came back to Dominica after 10 years of the Labour movement and established the Dominica Labour Party.
And one last thing on my mind, I've noticed that we had the largest police recruit ever, man. The graduation of 59 policemen.
Yes. And
that's a large number, man.
That speaks volume not only of our security in the state, it speaks of the confidence of the young people wanting to help in the development of security in Dominica. And I must compliment the trainers who got those young men
and women
ready for service for Dominica.
I think there are about 11 women in that group.
Yes, 11 to be not about 11.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. My hope is that I heard a acting chief, speaking about going back on the beat. On the beat, that was one of the hallmarks of policing many years ago.
Yes.
Where policemen would be seen, not only being heard of, but walking the beat.
I know as a boy, you would have seen the police officers at a particular time of night.
That's right.
Walking with their batons, around Roseau at the time.
Roseau.
It was the tongue of Roseau.
At the time.
I think those days, so much rules and regulations, so much laws, people talking about their rights.
Right.
And so you find that the police officers of today, is not keeping up to the beats.
Well, the acting commissioner, Mr. Corbett, has promised us that we'll soon be seeing the police, especially some of the new recruits.
It should not be only the new recruits. It should be police officers. I don't want to discriminate. It should be police officers.
And I support you. Police officers.
Because you don't want to use the new recruits because they are new.
But obviously they would be supervised. They have
to be supervised.
Yes, because
Yes,
right. You have to be supervised. Men have to come and check you.
By a sergeant,
senior officer,
or maybe an inspector. Maybe to a corporal. I don't know. They determine
they determine who will be doing the supervision. But other officers senior men will be with them. Mm-hmm. I guess when you're being what I say, being initiated in the new thing, you will always be observed and supervised.
One of the things I would like to see happen is, I would like to maybe throw out there, is that people should not understand, or people should not come to know what your roots are, especially the criminal, because if they know what time you get out and at what time you're going to be at certain places, you are giving the criminal an opportunity to do what they have to do.
They'll soon discover. They'll soon find out.
Yes.
But it will make us feel a little bit more secured in the city.
Tonight we have with us, can I say young man?
Well, your man still look good.
When you become 60, are you considered to be a young man?
Well, right now, 60 is considered just being in the middle age.
Well,
not young. You're between young and the
golden age.
The golden age, the elderly. So you're in between.
Well, I normally say the new 40 now is 60.
Well, yes.
Before the 40.
You look aged,
Yeah,
but when you look at
aged.
a man like you in your almost
60s, almost no, I mean,
or you're in your
60s.
60s, you look at my good
Piper.
friend Piper
In his 60s.
in his 60s. You look at me
in your 70s.
in my 70s.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So there's a new
what we call renaissance.
Yes.
In terms of how we look
Is
at
it the water?
I don't know if it's the water.
Is it the ladies?
I don't know if it's the ladies. I don't know what it is.
Is it the environment?
I don't know if it's the environment.
Is it this because Dominica is a peaceful place?
Well, maybe all that. Yeah, Cecil, because for instance, we have some of the natural foods, our
Yes.
gophers, our mango,
Yes.
Christophe, natural things that we eat. And this man is right in Waterweaven, where he's also breathing the sulfur, which they say cleanses you from it prevents you from getting old. So he's with you.
So we can say good evening to Peter Piper.
Yeah, good evening, Cecil.
How are you doing, my brother?
Yeah, bro, your brother's just cool. I'm just waiting for my time to do what I have to.
I'm happy that you could make it and to be here with us, so we can discuss or give us your experience as a boy growing up in the Roseau area.
Yeah. Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity, Cecil. And as it was, before you say that, I was yes.
Yes.
And here I am.
Yeah, because I know you're one of the persons that would call the program ever so often to give your sentiment of your Lakou.
Lakou, yeah, man. Original Lakou, man,
And I know that there are a number of people from Cork Street, like Curtis, Henry.
Yeah, and Harry.
And Harry.
From Wilma.
Yeah, well, Harry's gone, right? We have Mervyn Williams and all of these people. We have all of these people tonight that will be listening from Cork Street, and I think let us start as we normally do. Give us a background of Peter Piper.
Okay. Peter Piper. I was born on the 16th of March, 1964. Now, in my time, my mother had 3 children before me and 2 after me. So that means I was in the center, myself and my sister, Patricia. After Patricia is Peter, after Peter is Crispin and Joseph.
Let's take it again. Let's start from the top. Who's first?
The first child would be Desmond,
Yes.
then Julian,
Yes.
and then Patricia, then me, Peter, then Crispin, then Joseph. Now, Desmond has been missing since the 4th of February 2008. He's presumed dead. Now, Joseph Pinter, he died. We're on 2 years now.
Peter is the last one.
The last one.
Yes.
So it's just Julian, Patricia, Peter, Crispin. Now, Julian and Patricia in the States, Peter and Crispin in Dominica. But apart from us now, Frederick Piper had children. I have 3 sisters. My love sister Pinker Piper Rock for Lennox. There's Seraphine Fontaine now, married. And there's Frederica. And then they have a little brother, Davidson. They call Davidson Dr. Piper. Now, in daddy children now, before we had Desmond. Desmond was born on the 24th of May, 59. And there's another Peter. Peter was born on the 27th of June, 1959. So Peter and Desmond is a month and 3 days between them.
those daddies before, those guys before, they were not easy.
But his last of the children now, in 67, he had Joseph, then he had Magdo. I know I lying. Before Joseph, they were the twins. Davidson is a side of a twin. Dr. Piper is a side of a twin. They were born in January. Then there was Pinter Joseph, and there was Magdo. Magdo dead. One side of the twin dead, and Dr. Piper has all the power of his other brother. You know? So we from a family whereby I don't have half brothers, I don't have half sisters. I have brothers and sisters, and I will maintain that. And I was born in the hospital, but I was raised in Pong, Lakou. And I'm proud to say I'm from Pong. Very, very proud. The Pong I'm from, my brother. I'm not from Goodwill. I'm not from Cork Street. Cork Street is where we had our shop.
Yes.
And people would be seen, but how all these people could live in that shop? We were not living in the shop.
And how all of these people could be living in Pong in that house?
Well, we had, that's the thing about Pong. We had space at our home because, okay, we had people to look after us, we call servants. That's what we used to call it. So sorry about that. Helpers, you want to say that. But these people had their room in the house. And the kind of person my mother and my father were, these people are, down to earth. Daddy worked on the port, mommy worked at the handcraft by Cable and Wireless. So the Cable and Wireless there, look the handcraft, look the port.
Right now the Chinese are building something there.
Right.
Or you have a store there right now. We have Cecil Bellot and
Bellot, right. Bellot. Yes, Cecil.
As a matter of fact, it's opposite Social Security.
Yeah, and back of credit off
and the back of
Cable and Wireless.
And
we can say
agent, and we can say agent, the adjacent to Whitchurch.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Cecil at that time.
It's on Hanover Street the corner of Hanover Street and Hillsborough Street.
And Hillsborough Street, right. At that time, right, when we go to school and we come back, we must have someone at home. The train to our keys for a house. So if something happened to you at school and you come back home, there's someone home for you. So mommy had to be doing that, daddy doing that. But then, how all of us, all the children could come together. So we talking about being calm. What man is man, you know what I'm saying? You cannot run from that. No matter who you are, you're a man. And there's the point of attraction. People attracted to you, attracted to people. 1 + 1 = 2. You say 1 and 1 is 11, but 1 + 1 = 2. Right. So it was just do it. Now, Cecil.
Well, before you go, I just want to say that we have 52 people already watching and listening. Watching. Yeah. We can say we have 52. We have much more persons listening. Sandra Sayer, good evening to you. You're watching.
Yes, that's my little sister.
That's your little sister.
Actually, yeah. Her mom used to look after us.
Okay.
She's my sister.
Shepherd Pond is also watching.
Brother Shepherd.
Yes.
Drum.
Clinton Ansem is tuned in. Hilda, Celestine said very interesting, listening and viewing from St. Thomas. Ruben Michel is also watching.
Oh.
Well, Sandra Sear said, good evening, Cecil and Mr. Adams, and to everyone listening and watching. Western Seraphine watching from UK.
My cousin.
Big up Peter.
That's my
Piper,
cousin.
your cousin.
Family.
All right. And Anthony Brown. Good evening, gentlemen. I'm watching from St. Martin. And Martina Roye. She's watching from New York. And Peter Dover. Hello, Cecil, and everyone watching. Joseph Seraphine. Hesitant is watching.
Family.
Cedric Suku is watching. David Hector watching from New Jersey. Good evening to you, David.
Yeah.
And my brother David Montana is watching. And Jennifer Bradshaw Green is listening and watching. All right. Yes, Piper. Peter.
Yes, man. So we say we're coming up in these times, right? Like our home in Pong, we had water there, and then, I didn't water bill was $1, but our home was like a river. Anybody would come and use our water at home. Bathe, wash your clothes, whatever. We had no...
But before you go right there, Peter, I think you need to tell us, because those of us who know where you lived would know the size of your home.
Yeah, used to live.
Used to live, yes.
Yeah.
Would know the size of your home. So help us to get a better understanding of your home. How many rooms that the house had? The backyard, how big it was. Because we need to know what you're talking about.
We had 3 rooms, right? We had a room, apart from the drawing room, that room on the side, that was for where the helpers would be staying. Then Mommy and Daddy had their section, and we had a double room for 5 boys and 1 girl. But the thing about it, all 5 of us were never there all one time. All five boys were never there. Either Desmond would be by Auntie Mildred, that's Daddy's sister, Julian. Julian would be sometimes living with Grandpa at Wharton Waven. So we had space, and we had people living with us. We were comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We were comfortable. We had a double bed. We bought. That would be by police station where there was Morsons. So on double bed we have that. We had beds. Trust me, we had space. And in our drawing room we have a big chair. If people stay back, they could stay home and sleep. And we always had food at home. Because Mommy was a lady, she says, Ma, she say kaka. So what is the food to give someone you the food? You're gonna pass it out, you're gonna poo it. So Mommy was, but anybody can get food by Mommy. And Daddy was the same to you, because Daddy was a lovely man, Mommy was lovely. I'm from lovely people, man. Trust me, my parents.
Where your mom came from?
Okay. My mother's mother was a Carib Terror. That would be Mom Daisy Seraphine. It's a Soufre side, and her father, James Ayres, was a Montserratian, came to Dominica, never lost his accent. At 5 years, and he died at 84. So he's 79 years in Dominica, he never lost his Montserrat accent. Now my father Piper, his Piper's in Queen Mary Street, the Piper Step.
Yes.
My father was the son of was like a half child, because Daddy's father was the son of Auntie Bernice. This is Auntie Bernice Luge, her mother. My grandfather was their child, but Auntie Bernice would be my auntie. But so much aunties. What's Auntie Bernice in Pottersville? Across was my father's sister, Seraphine Blanchard. You understand? So I have Auntie Seraphine, I have Auntie Bernice when I go to Pottersville. But I was well protected. I go to Sabre Street, the Luges, Clayton Luge, that's my father's uncle. That was my grandfather's brother. Clayton Clement Luge, there's people there. Peter Luge and his father. These are, family. If you touch one, you touch all of us.
So you have an extended family.
A big family, Cecil, a big family. And the way I was raised is that, when I move on the road, anywhere I move, I have to know what I see and I have to control myself, because sometimes I'll be talking, just arguing, and somebody, I got phone, people already going to tell my mother, we're making noise. I say, Mommy, no, we schoolboys and we talking. Boy, Cecil, I was brought up under lock and key, but so lock and key like to say, but I was, I was a moving one.
We have 74 persons viewing at this time. They're moving fast. Juliet Andrew Tuma says, good evening, everyone. Reed Joseph. Yes, I Rastaman. Glenn Peters is watching. Kerwin Bradshaw is watching from Goodwill. Jennifer Bradshaw Green. Peter Piper, I glued. You looking good, bro.
Thanks.
Brenda Alexander, good evening. Cecil, Mr. Adams, and Peter. You said Mr. Adams, and they call Peter and Cecil. Watching from New York. Dale Etienne, good evening, Peter. Maria Seja is watching. Crispin Piper, that's your brother, right?
Crispin, yeah, man, that's my brother after me. Bad
yes.
rep.
Bad rep, yes.
Christmas born.
Yeah, Sophia Burton. Hi, Peter, looking at you. Yeah. Rennick Thomas is watching.
Brother.
We can say the brother.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Sandra we said hello earlier on. Melo Lawrence, Friday daughter, saying hello. Yeah. My daddy, adopted brother. Nice to see Peter.
Yes, man.
Also Friday. Jennifer Coffee. Good evening, Cecil, Peter, and everyone. Rennick Thomas said, Peter, the pipes Peter is sharing the vibes on the childhood days on the Lakou. Big up to the best, to the poet. You have to tell us about that, Peter, tonight. Frederica James is actually watching. And my brother again, David Montana, ask him if he remember having an incident of his brother, one of your brothers.
Yes. And I don't know the difference in them. I was a stone, and I can't tell if it's David or Derek. Up till today, I don't know.
One of the brothers hit you Akulo.
Akulo should be my head. And that's
I suspect it's David.
David. Yeah, David.
So yes, Peter, so you tell us a little bit about your mother. I know people said that your mother, Vincent Badwill said, hi, Cecil, good evening. Say hello to Peter for
Vincent
me.
And Jerome.
And Anthony Medium, we call him Tony Marco, is watching. Yes, Peter. I need you. People said that your mom is from Wharton Weaven.
No.
How true is that?
No. Actually, that's where her father had the land. My grandmother was from Soufriere. So when she had a piece of Soufriere Scotland.
Okay.
Seraphine. My two grandmothers were Daisy. Daisy Seraphine and Daisy Bunch. Daddy mother was Daisy Bunch. Mommy mother was Daisy Seraphine. We call mommy mother my granny. And daddy mother Mama Daisy. Mama Daisy and Granny. Two Daisies.
Okay.
So them people there, like the history of these people is that them come to town and they had their thing, but then Wharton Weaven, my grandmother was up there. That's where she was. Because my grandfather was lower down, but my grandfather had 3 children. This is Auntie Claudia and this is Uncle David. David was before them, and when you talk about Uncle David, they call him brother. The father of Cheryl, Beverly, Teresa, Tony, and a whole lot of others. You see, Uncle was you know what I'm saying? The example of a man. Uncle had children, and your wife from a large family, and I can't walk on people.
So we can say the Piper family actually originated from Montserrat.
Because of the Isles section of Mona Isles is Montserrat side.
So your father came from Montserrat?
Montserrat.
Okay, so the Isles, we can say, is from Montserrat.
And then Piper right there.
Piper on the big step.
Yeah.
So,
and my grandmother.
So you're saying Colin Piper is your family?
Of course. Colin and my father would be 2 brothers' children.
2 brothers' children?
Yep.
So you're saying that the lawyer, Old Man Piper,
will be my granduncle.
Is your granduncle?
Ashton.
Yes.
Yeah, man, as a granduncle, you have to take care of us as, if anything happened, not me because I'm a Piper, but like my sister children as a court, you go in the court and you represent, and no one knows about that. So, yeah, man, Cecil, that was the time. Like, a little boy, I'd go at Piper's step. When I tell my Piper, my name is Peter Piper, and I go with my hip knee, it's $5 I go with because I have to just go in here and just collect all what that fall long is mine. Piper, and it's once you see Piper, I don't have to pay for anything. Go and what they are there. The plum and them, we have to go and get that in the yard there, man. And family.
I never, growing up in Roseau, I never remembered anybody going in that yard,
Well, I could go because she'd be selling that there and she'd send me inside. That's family.
Yes,
I'm a little boy.
Yes.
I wasn't 5 years. I wasn't 5. So she'd send me and get.
No, you were talking about your house where you lived in
Pong.
Pong, you were saying that you had 3 bedrooms.
Yep.
And you also had a maid.
Yeah.
In those days they call them servants.
Servants, yeah.
For people like you to have a servant in those days, it would have been a big thing, Peter.
Because actually, Dad is working on the pot, Mom is working at the handcraft. Come on, children going to school. You know it is, sometimes you're in school and you're sick, sometimes you have to come home. So you must have someone to take care of us at home.
But my daddy worked on the pot too. And my mommy worked for Mrs. Burton, the Burton family.
Right.
And we couldn't have a maid. So y'all were fortunate.
Well, I was fortunate, man. I was fortunate. Yeah, I was fortunate. I could say that because, let me tell you a story about me, Cecil. When I started high school in 75, you know I used to go and sell the Star newspaper and the Chronicle?
Yes, I know that.
The Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, sell my paper and make my money, and then my two little brothers, Crispin and Josie, sometimes I get them to sell papers, and then I take money and save on their account, Save for them, for their papers they sell. I don't give you money, I save in your money for you, boy.
And you need to tell people where the Star was.
The Star was right across by us there,
right,
on Bath Road.
Right.
That, under the Vanderpool's house.
Right. Some persons may not know Joey Vanderpool, but you can give them the location exactly where the Stars.
When you'll be coming down by police station,
that's too
you
far.
pass. Hold on. When you pass where that Central Water, that's where the entrance now.
Yes.
Yep.
After there's a house there where Rosie Sims would be staying there, thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Rosie Mills would be living there, and then after that, there'll be another house for Maito. Maito, that was the bad one. And then there's other Vanderpools.
It was actually adjacent to the wall of the Windsor Park.
Yes, right.
Yes. It's a
Right
greenhouse.
there.
Right.
And that's where they had all those irons that's later the Wasco used to put in tongue. And that stayed there for some years when you were playing football. And remember, how many balls go there and it lose?
Right.
When the ball go inside of that young odd ball again.
Right. So Peter, you're talking about the Star newspaper.
Right.
Who was it owned by?
Miss Alfrey.
Miss Allfrey. That's important.
Right.
And the reason why
Only Miss Allfrey? There
yes,
was
the
Mr.
same-
Allfrey too?
Phyllis
the same Miss Allfrey
Free and a husband.
that established the
Labour Party.
Dominica Labour Party. You know, that same woman who established the Labour Party had the Star in those days on Bath Road.
Right.
And her king printer was Morris Cyril.
Morris,
Yes.
yeah.
Morris.
And it's still
And
around.
Tony had Morris. Tony died. Yeah, Morris and Tony. But Morris was, let me tell you, man. Morris is a man that, Morris is an editor, Morris knows, and here he talks, man, and Morris is a picture of his mother. I could remember Morris' mother. Morris is just a nice person. He's not a man I ever getting hot and blah, 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 blah. Morris, I don't know if he was acolyte, whatever, but Morris has that about him. Morris Cyril, big up Morris.
Right. Can you remember any articles in the Star?
Not really. Because actually Star would be coming out with the news, like the sports news, and but it had Star and Chronicle and Herald.
Yes.
The
Chronicle would have been up where
by non-school there, by going to SME there.
It's next to St. Martin's School.
St. Martin's School.
Yeah, in the entrance of the St. Martin's School.
Yeah, exactly.
On Independence Street,
Yeah.
right opposite where you see that wall is. That's exactly where the Chronicle was.
Do you remember?
That's where Joe loses his foot. Joseph Gabriel,
Gabriel, yes. He lives in Pong.
Yeah.
Yes. From Mount Prosper?
No, Joe originally is somebody from at the back there, by Kings Lane.
Ah.
At the back of Carib.
Oh yes,
Cinema
yes.
in
that corner.
His father,
right next to Miss Giraud.
All right.
Right
you
next
know,
to Miss
you know
Giraud.
the business.
As a matter of fact, by Kokoti, my brother.
In the yard.
By Kang.
In the yard,
in
by
the yard.
Kang.
Yes. How would I forget that, By Flossie Joseph next there.
And you're talking about Tony Mead.
Are we talking about Tony Mead? Right. I'm sure Tony's going to say something about that, So, Vina Alfred is also watching. Anthony Mead says good night to everyone.
Yes, Tony.
Anthony meeting with Loop is watching Mr. Piper. Good evening, good night.
Good night, Tony.
And Vincent Bad will say good night. Say hello
Classmate.
to Peter for me. And Andre Lugue said good evening, Cecil and Peter. Cornelius Lugue is watching from Canada.
Yeah.
That's Connie.
Right.
Edna Ernest is watching. Christine Piper said, I knew it was David.
Crispin.
Yeah, Crispin. He said, I knew it was David. Angelo, what's that? Lupus. And also Jean Woodley. Also, Swinging Janice is watching. Marvelyn Brady is also watching, and she said, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. We had a lady to wash our clothes. We had a lady to iron our clothes.
Yeah,
we had a lady to cook for us.
Bourgeois self.
We were blessed kids.
Yeah. Bourgeois self.
That's about blessed.
That's you're free people, boys.
Your brother is saying to us that you have someone to wash your clothes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone to iron.
Yeah.
Yes.
And somebody to look after.
Yeah.
3 servants, man.
My brother,
that's not ordinary, man.
That's not ordinary. Blessed kids.
No, watch that. You have a home, right? You watch everybody using it.
Uh-huh.
You send people and wash your clothes in the river, give someone a job. You cannot keep it to yourself.
The Piper in the 70s and the 80s.
80s you talking, me boy.
You're talking about where
Nightlife.
Cecil, we opened our shop in 69, and before our shop, my grandfather had land. That's where I live at Wharton Weaven. We had the most skin up there.
So that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the most skin.
You come and tell me you were a blessed child.
Child, man, you had.
You had
resources.
Well, actually, watch that. I would catch treasure from 83 to 86. And then ever since, I don't really... I got a little job with government, a project to do something for them in Lakou, the Hillsborough Gardens project. I run that for them. I do that, but the problem was that when I left my work, I applied for a job, and one person that replied me, I say that openly in the world will know that, Curtis Tong, Mrs. Tong alone that replied me. So for that, I just don't apply for jobs. I don't. I don't mind applying for a job, and I don't have something. I graduated in 81, and I didn't do CXC. I have Cambridge O-level passes.
Let me throw something at him while she's looking through. Tell us where you went to did you go preschool?
Well, preschool for me was Miss Burton here. Miss Burton, that was by Cecil there. And let me tell you about Cecil. I had something, and it's only by Cecil I made that, thing they call in Farwin Cocoa. That's the nicest Farwin Cocoa, but it was a hipney for Farwin Cocoa, right, Cecil?
Hipney.
But Cecil, but all you fellas buy one that, boy, a Farwin Cocoa, and they roll in that like a cone.
Yeah, the paper.
And eating that, man.
Yeah. Actually, it was the grandmother of the Dorivals, that is Ricky Dorival and yes, Ricky Dorival, Miss Mary, Charlene Dorival,
Ricky,
Debbie Dorival,
Charlene,
yes.
my Mickey,
yes, I'm trying to remember the big brother
Dean,
Ikesan, yes,
Dorian.
Ikesan was in St. Thomas at the time,
Dorian,
yes, that's
Dorian,
the grandmother.
Mickey, Dean.
So she used to do quite a lot of Farwin cocoa and cocoa sticks.
Right.
So the Farwin cocoa, we used to have quite a lot of that, eat a lot of that. She used to always give us.
We used to line up to buy that by Olive by Cecil.
Yes.
That was nice. Cecil.
Yeah, that was
the
good.
Farina, the cocoa, and some sugar
And
in that.
a little oil mix up.
And brick man for that again. Way.
Yeah, we'll come and talk about that a little bit. But let's go a little bit about
this preschool.
Your I went to Miss Burton School. I was 69, I was 5 years, so we go up to Wharton Weaven for holidays. By September, I seen why not going back down. But apparently, my mother's father, James Siles, was living up there. That's where his land was. And it seems my bigger brother, Desmond, went to school there. Julian went to school there. When Desmond went and came down to high school, I had to go and meet Julian. Julian is hippie. Hippie in the States. He's the best mechanic here, doctor mechanic. That's my big brother. Give that to him. Now, when Hippie left and go, they sent Crispin and meet me. And then that was the time the breaking out would come out. I decided sometime in 74, well, Sylvester Sones taught me. Miss Murphy was the principal. And there's a teacher, Miss Arlene, I think Hildreth Arlene. And that's about it here. But then when you go to Miss Burton School, and you come to school at 5 years, the children up there didn't go to school at 5. It's only 5 years they go to school. So I was ahead of them.
Most of us went to school at 5.
And I went to school before 5. I went to school probably 2 and something. 2 years and something at Miss Burton. And Miss Burton, I remember Miss Burton, school was for 8 o'clock. when we start, probably one time, 9 o'clock, they tell us take a sleep. Then take a little sleep and get up, recess, and 12 o'clock go home and come back probably 1 o'clock or 1:30 morning, afternoon. So when I went to Wharton Weaving and I went to school, I was more school than school because up there, probably we had our radio, I listened to news, and I was just ahead of people. That just is nothing. I didn't make that up, Cecil. I didn't copy, I didn't write answers. It's just in your head, recall. And I could recall things good. So when I left in 74, around that time in 74, when I went to a Roseau boys school, that we were using Goodwill School from 1 to 5, I met fellas like
Peter,
Carl.
So you did not go to your neighboring school? Roseau Mixing Fan School?
No. I never went there. I went to Miss Burton, then Wharton Weaving, then come to Wharton Weaving. I went to boys school 1 to 5. Then I came to Roseau boys school in 74 when it reopened, 74 to 75, and 75 I went up to SMA. And when I went to SMA, that was the time. Okay.
But before going to SMA, give us a walk through your primary school days.
Okay, well, Miss Burton, and then Wharton Weaving. And Wharton Weaving wasn't so much of a difference in school, and it's a different school from the school I knew. We had classrooms in Miss Burton, but then Wharton Weaving was open. For example, the school at the bottom, at the end, the little children were there. I never forget that school. When they put me there, I don't want to lie. If I stay there for 10 days, that'd be 2 weeks. I didn't stay there longer than that here. At the backboard, that is your board, and then the center, on the side, and then on top for the bigger children. 3 sections. I sit in middle section in Wharton Weaving School after 10 days in the little section, till I left it in 74. That when Sylvester Soons was the teacher, and I was 74, I think he got the crown. He took the crown from Solo. Solo got the crown in 73. Soons take it in 74. Solo come back 75, 76, and 77. And he moved over to 78. Now Solo would be cutting our hair for us.
On Cork Street?
Yep. When Solo give you a cut, my brother, everybody wants to look at you here because Melvin, he was left-handed. And when he left Dominica, that's what he did in America. Hairstyle man. And let me tell you something. When
you can go a little bit more into the mic.
When you see we go by Solo for our haircut, we'd get haircut. Because Solo would be taking a blade and put it with a comb and shave you, you know. And no buttons on our neck. And Saturdays, man, you'll see fellas lining up in Cork Street for Solo to cut here, you know. Melvin Constant. So you see, so those days there was Cecil.
So
the shop opened in 69 Christmas.
So before we talk about the shop, so you now left your school in Wharton Weaving, and you now had to go to Roseau Boys School.
Yeah.
Walk us through.
Well, when I came to Roseau Boys School, they put me in standard 5D. That was Cecil and Nicholas, and I remember that class had a whole lot of police children in my class. Maxime Powell, Billy Sandy, Dexter Valmore, Sam Phillip, and Sam Phillip was a police as the son of Owen Phillip. And talking about these fellas here, I was in class with Sam Phillip. I was in Sam with Peter Phillip and Paul Phillip, you know, Peter, Paul, and Sam. I did classroom with them, 3 different brothers, you know, of Owen Phillip. And let me tell you about my SMA days now, Cecil. When I came into SMA...
No, before you go to SMA, you have to tell us, because where did you sit common entrance? In standard 5?
Yeah, no, Form 1.
Form 1, okay.
Form 1
right.
in boys' school.
Right.
And I just passed that to high school, and I came out second in my class. Second in Form 1B. So if I didn't pass common entrance, they couldn't be second form, I'd be third form, but I was just 10, 11 years. Just 10, 11 in March. September, I fly up to SMA bus.
Wow, that was good.
That was
Peter,
good.
you're a bright guy.
Yeah, that.
At the age of 11, you used to be in first form.
Yeah.
Yes,
bright.
You're bright.
Yeah.
So that's why that's why he couldn't have sat the common entrance earlier because he was too young.
Too young.
At the time. That's
Yeah,
what
you
it
were
was.
9
It
in
was
standard
age.
9.
Bike right common entrance since 8 years.
Uh-huh.
But it's just that what we even have a thing to wait to put you in a class. When I came down Roseau, it was easier for me, man. As I come, they put me in standard 5. I come out number 12. We come to new boys' school. 74 to 75 boys' school reopened. But they are in Form 1B way. I come out number 2, and the first man was Offie Clark, and Offie Clark beat me by around 2 or 3 points, you know.
What?
Yep. And then when I come to school now, in 101, I with 2 fellas as the islands called, Daryl Tulor and Jones Murphy.
Yes.
Dr. Robertson Thomas, Dr. Irvin McIntyre, Dr. Thompson Fontaine. My brother, once you would be one set of smart guys. And this was just competition, my brother. So when you smart around smart, you can't be foolish. If you're foolish, you not cause yourself to be foolish.
Foolish, yes. Alvin Thomas said, yeah, I was a newspaper boy in my young days too, selling the Star, Herald, and the Chronicle. Those were fun days. That's what Alvin Thomas. I remember Alvin Thomas living in Phil's Lane. So yes, so you went to SMA.
Oh, you were the smart guys, like all these guys you call them, man. Powerhouses, man.
Yes, man. Doctors, he was. I mean, let me tell you now. When I can call my first form for 101 fellas for you. Alphabetical. Francis Ibrahim, Frank Ting. B would be Stevenson Benjamin. You would be Baron, Frederick Baron. C would be Chambers, Anthony Chambers, Leroy Charles. D. You know, understand? I get the D fellas, Ducre, the 2 Ducre brothers, Trevor Ducre and Algernon Ducre. E would be Greg Eugene. F would be Fontaine, Thompson Fontaine and Joseph Fontaine. G, my brother, I had all those fellas' names and I give that to them fellas. And the fellas, they watching me, so I say, my brother, what you know you can't forget. If you forget, something happened to your brain and nothing happened to my brain, my brother. Because watch that. Cecil, I did science at school. When I come from science, I go and do business, but I did accounts with Franklin Chillingford and 1 term of commerce with Miss Chrissy Challenger. My brother, I passed my exam. They give me a C in accounts, a B in commerce. Bam. Desmond Carly taught me. Desmond Carly tell me, what is your what and up? I just had to go to Treasury and work here. And I worked there for 3 years, my brother. And let me tell you something. They sent that woman, Beverly Barney Spinard. She was the accountant general sometime. They sent her to teach me. And Beverly could tell you, my brother didn't can hour to teach me and I was on my own, you know. And this guy, Mr. Ambrose Sylvester. Mr. Ambrose, big up. That man tell a man, you see that man, don't trust that man. Not to be bad, I say, but you see that man is a guy that he knows what he's doing. And but Mr. Ambrose, I love that man so much. When I go St. Joe, I have to pass by Mr. Ambrose, Ambrose Sylvester, the man they call Fingers.
In those days, Brother Jimmy was your principal.
Of course.
Tell us about Brother Jimmy.
Okay, let me tell you something. When I came to school, SMA had a revolution, I think, in 72, 73. And then Father Felix would be Cardinal Felix. He controlled for 2 years. And then Brother Jimmy came in. So then Father Felix go to St. Lucia and he became Archbishop Felix. And then sometime later on he became Cardinal. When Brother Jimmy came in, it was Brother Jimmy, Brother John Lewis, Brother Calvin Peter, and Brother French. The 4 brothers. 75. Man, Cecil, when I came to school, that was the last year we did Spanish in first form, and Franklin Monel was a Spanish teacher, and Mademoiselle Marcella Savre. Marcella Savre was the Sevre, man.
Sevre.
Sevre.
Yeah, Sevre.
Marcella was our French teacher.
Peter, as a matter of fact, Peter and what's the guy at UE? Sister.
Oh yeah, Francis.
So it's Peter and Annette at the National Bank.
Right,
yeah.
So when the fellas that came in 76, they didn't do Spanish in first form. They did French alone. And when we going on 77, I think I was the first, not me, but our team. We were the first set of people to confirm at 13 years. I confirmed in 13 1977, I confirmed. And my brother, this was this, my brother. When all of us, imagine I was so fortunate, Cecil, my class was with convent girls. You understand? So I was with everybody else. And Miss Marianne Augustus was our teacher, and she
That's
many
French.
times,
That's French, right?
the French teacher, but she was our teacher called for confirmation.
Ah,
And at the time, she used to teach at Convent High School.
okay.
Then later, she came to teach at SMA. Then after, she went and she was the principal of the Goodwood Secondary School.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Augustus just had a, she knows my father, and she used to just leave me in charge of those girls. I remember girls like Eloise Green, Jill Williams, Carol Regis, but rich people children I was with personally, my personal. But then Saturdays hang out with rich people. All of us have to come together in St. James Hall. So at that time when we come together, we just mix up, man. Everybody just, we know because we're the convent class, we don't sit down as these convent people now. We have to just mix and mix. And that was so lovely, man. I can't forget those days, you know. These were lovely days, you know, man. It's not privileged days, yeah, just special days, I'll call them.
Special days.
Special days.
Yes. No, Peter. A little bit about your church life as a boy growing up, altar boy, going church every Sunday and so on. Help us to have a better understanding
Cecil,
of
you
your
know,
church life.
Cecil, you are the king of go like we. Cecil, Maki, Magdo, Sammy, Sammy and Gilbert, Nick,
Your brother.
Desmond, Peter, boss. Let me tell you, man, we had nice times because, Cecil, these were the days where fellas have to line up to serve. Huh?
Yes.
Line up to serve and fellas getting money.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a time, you know what I'm saying? And then the thing about it, my brother, if you're not, you have to present yourself like someone that's going to church, you know, my brother. You can't be can't, you know. That is why when Brother Jimmy meet us, we were Brother Jimmy boys. You know.
So tell us, give us your story of an altar boy.
Well, Cecil, watch that. The altar boy business was church, and it's Sunday church. Understand what I'm telling you? And what you do on Sunday, man? Everybody there, you put a gun on you, and you check your vibes there. You understand that? And fellas see where you get, how much, and that's about it. And Cork Street was.
No, but so I would like to know, were you one of the boys going in the presbytery to have fun with the priests?
No, Papa. It's come and just
priest-
check your vibes and move out.
With the priest items, the fish, the bangos in the yard.
Well, you must get. You cannot do talk about you don't get a grafted mango and you do it go over there. Yeah.
Mm.
You know, that was what it was, Cecil. And
Did you by any chance on a Sunday carry a strainer and get to the presbytery yard and get red fish?
Because we have fishes on the way to Wharton Weaven.
Oh yes, that's
by
yes.
O'Feely. Remember sometimes in Wharton Weaven, fellas would walk up like the Virgin Lane gang.
Yeah.
Virgin Lane Barford fellas would walk up. And when they come up for fish, there's all by O'Feely getting fish and come all Wharton Weaven by us. And then when they with us, we tell them, yo, that's our friends. So Wharton Weaven fellas will be sending soon after fellas can send soon after our friends.
So actually it was Wharton Weaven, Coptall, and Fokani.
Fokani,
the gutters of Fokani used to get a lot of
fish.
Okay. Yeah.
Fellas walk up with their bottle.
Yes.
With their bottle and put their little weed in that, their little fish weed there, you know, weed in that and or buy food. Yes. That was our food by Blatcher and them.
Yes.
That's right.
So you were not one of the person that would have gone and enjoy yourself by having to take the redfish, even if you're tilapia in the water.
Didn't buy them. No.
Okay. What about like many of us would have done? What about having fun time with the lusty?
That is the normal part. Yeah. Come on. You know.
Peter made the sign of the cross, you know.
Yeah, but not that you have to.
Is it because you did wrong? You made the sign of the cross?
No. Well, that's what you have to. You cannot take communion and make the sign of the cross.
Right.
So that was just.
So you're one of the individual that would have gone to at the end of service, get at the back of the altar and have a good
Good
feast.
portion of
Of
with
course,
the-
of
with the-
course,
with the-
of course, Cecil. That's normal.
And you
you
call it
know.
normal.
That's a normal thing, you know, my brother. You're going to be looking, you know, because of food that day, you know.
Did you ever?
And when you get money, where you going, Cecil? By my Laron. Huh?
Uh-huh.
It's Laron.
Yes.
Yes, Sink you Abbas and them auntie,
Yes.
right on the side of the church. And when church going on, boy, you're not serving fellas there, taking their money, I want to give you money. Either you go there and buy Frozen Joys or you go buy Darling Chillingford.
Yes, darling.
So
Shilling for
you're
us.
not putting the money in the collection.
You're
then?
not putting
No.
money in collection, boys. That's money
Only
to
for
have
the-
your nice time.
All you
We
rub
didn't,
the-
we didn't know. We
all
didn't
you
know.
fella
Putting,
rub, all you rub the church.
no, I don't. No, I don't know about
Nah,
rubbing.
they're not robbing church.
Because in those days, Peter, I was just saying to somebody today that we couldn't have breakfast before you went to church.
Yeah,
There
right.
was no breakfast.
It's after church you eat.
You have to go to church. Even if church starts at 6:30, you had to go to church, and when church was over,
Then you go.
then you go. So when your mother give you 10 cents, most times the most ever I think is with 25 cents. And when church would be over, Darlene was right in the corner of the church by AC Shillingford area there.
Sticky tablet.
And
Go and
Miss
take your-
and
boy,
and,
boy.
and that lady on Victor on Independence Street, we used to call it Queen Mary Street, would go for and buy our sticky tablet.
Can I say?
my hand.
Can I say
Uh.
that all you fellas owe the church?
The church was.
The church is owing us, you know,
The church was.
because Father Charles and Father Bogard. No, well, Bogard was the bishop at the time, right, Peter?
Yeah, yes.
Bogard was the
Bogard.
bishop. We had Father Charles. We had Father
Gilord.
Gilord. That's
The
the name
old
I'm looking for. Voice up and down, you know. Then Jolly when we just about leaving, Jolly came, you know.
Father Lonk.
Father Lonk, yeah.
Okay, you know all the
So
priests.
we had those guys. We were not getting money for Peter. We were not getting money for church service. We were getting money for funerals.
Okay.
And Peter, tell us about the funerals when you had to go to the funerals then.
Well, funeral is a special money, Cecil. When you come and you see that exactly funeral is a special thing. Because you come in and you have to put your on you and
Yes.
you call a king.
Yes. 50 cents.
You know what I mean?
Father
And you're
Charles
talking
is
about
50%.
50 cents, 50 cents is but 50 cents is $20, you want.
Yes, in those days, yeah.
50 cents are $20, my brother.
Yeah.
But you don't think you can buy 50 cents?
So the more people all you bury, is the more 50 cents then.
Well, more people that die. More church, and those days, more everybody was Catholic.
You know what I mean?
Everybody was Catholic,
Boy, that was
Catholic
more
boy.
time, man.
and there was no list, you know. The more that would have gone to the, I want to say to you, Peter, 100 people actually viewing,
Yeah.
and commenting. Coralie Thomas says that she's watching. Boy, those were the good days. We would jump in the wall at the churchyard to get our mangoes. That time we used to go and do that by the bishop house.
Okay.
You know, on
By Bogart.
by Bogart, by the St. Martin's
By
small school.
Licky St. Martin.
Licky St. Martin.
Licky St. Martin. And you know SMA was there. That SMA
Yeah,
was
that's
there
where SMA
before.
was. Where Licky St. Martin is.
Yeah.
In 1942, that's where the school actually began.
Okay.
Where SMA was.
So quite a number of people saying that they're watching Kenneth Ito. Good evening to you, Kenneth
Yeah,
Ito.
man. Super Santa.
Super Santa. Kate Julian is also watching.
Yeah.
Harold Seeley, your partner, is also
I
watching.
just feel a hoe.
Rosalind Sevre McLean is also watching. So we and Jimmy Fingers is watching. Good night, guys. Hi, Peter and Bernadette. Jermaine for Ni Dover watching from St. Croix. So let's go back a bit now. Let's go to Cork Street.
Mm-hmm.
We talk quite a lot about the church. We talk about the school. Let's go. And a little bit of Pong.
Street.
We'll come back to Pong in a while. Cork
Yeah.
Street.
Okay.
Cork Street was the life of the party. You see how people say Maho in those days was the life of the party? Cork Street was the life of the party, then Kennedy Avenue. Tell us about
Who
this.
was on Cork Street? Who made the life of the party
Okay.
on Cork Street?
Yes, tell us.
Okay. Cork Street, right? Apart from Moon and Piper, we have Ma Agatha and Ma Ursula, that's Renick Mordan Auntie.
Mm-hmm.
coconut cheese, scraps, bix. Let me tell you.
Some children that might be listening do not know what is scraps. Help them to understand what
Scraps would be the remnants of the coconut cheese, the tablet, the burning one, the man, the white one.
Peppermint.
Peppermint.
Yeah.
And pieces of big scraps, my brother. Let me tell you something. When you get scraps, you get the real thing. You get, let me tell you, when you get them at people here, girls some convent out pass at lunchtime to buy and they have to leave at their home for going convent girls, you know. Apart from what they bring in SMA. And when you can them here, when you Thomas and them people had contacts to be selling bags of when people had tambourine ball, coconut cheese, tablet, and post that to people all in America, England, you know, States. Then people had they had a contract for that, you know. And then when you lunchtime, apart from what they bring to SMA and sell, they have the people that have to come and buy from them, and the convent girls and whatever, and big people that working. So they had something. Let me tell you something. Michel Raffle deceased. That man had money. When that man come and buy $5
for everybody.
Oh, bondy. $5. Not $5 is we have Bix, tablet, coconut cheese, tambourine ball, everything. And boy, Michael could eat. Michel Raffle could eat. And let me tell you something. We have Johnny Granny. We have all.
Before you go to Johnny Granny, I want to say thank you, Kabi. You forgot to make mention because Kabi was the one coming to the yard, you know, of SMA to sell.
But before him was Michael and Michelle, yeah, and then they migrated in '76.
Right. Yes. So
then that's when he had to come in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I want to bring Kabi on the program one day to have a conversation. Yeah. So continue telling us about Cork Street.
Yeah, man. Okay, Cork Street, right?
So you made mention of Rennick's parents and auntie.
Okay, yeah. So they providing that. Now coming down Cork Street after them would be where Irene Peltier, and Irene Peltier must have been a national treasure because Irene Peltier had pictures of she with the Queen. The Queen, Irene Peltier met the Queen of England in Dominica, and Irene Peltier was a lady that always had those kind of hair tie, and across Irene Peltier would be who? Ma Maud. Ma Maud would be the Shillingford's grandmother, their father's mother. Huxley, this is Huxley. Look now, we had two Herbie Shillingfords. Big Herbie died, and little Herbie is in England. His father was Bunty died, Bunty passed.
Tell people, because people might be wondering what you're talking about. But before I do that, Rennick Thomas said Cecil scraps contained nutrients to keep the mind and soul pumping.
But that
Rennick said that.
Of course, Rennick,
they know easy, you know.
Grace Austria said, good program. Yeah. So tell us about the houses that you're talking about. So you spoke about the Shillingfords.
The Shillingford house across, that is still there?
No, tell us exactly
where it is.
Okay. When you're coming up Cork Street and you pass DK Burton house, that's on the corner. The next one will be Jackie Burke and them. After Jackie Burke and them, there was a thing, and then inside would be...
For ease of reference, let us say across where Rennick Thomas lives.
Opposite.
Would be the... for people still wondering where Patrick John's wife...
Okay. Opposite Rennick would be Barben.
Right.
And going up Cork Street would be Patrick John's first wife.
Right.
Shirley.
Yes.
Her Patrick, that is Junior. Is Patrick is his name? Junior Patrick.
Yes.
And Patrick and Patricia, Heffley and Ted Daly, big up Ted Daly, the man that put me on the radio. Yeah. And Paula. That's PJ's children's first set.
Yeah.
And then after that would be Carby and them, and that house would be Carby and them, and then back is Carby and them.
No.
Cherry.
I think that let's not just say some people, you have to speak of them. So Carby family was a very large family from the Dovers. Right. So you had the Dovers.
The Dovers.
You had how many brothers?
Huh?
How many brothers?
Okay, Jackers, Leroy, Dudley, Carby, Clem. And then had a bigger brother, Albert, but he was a Dover. 6 boys.
6 boys. In 1 room house? 2 room, 3 room?
Nah, man. They had space inside of there.
In that Kuwait had space?
Yeah, man. Because
In that little Kuwait had space?
Yep.
So you had Terry and them there, and then
Because
behind.
half of the house is Terry, but then you have that house inside there.
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you now, the ghetto is the ghetto. When you're in the ghetto, you make yourself home.
Uh-huh.
You make yourself home. So it won't be anybody to say one on the other. Everybody have their space. We have bed one, the bed one side. You know what I'm saying?
Man was on the
And
bed.
then when you come from them positions, my brother, you cannot want to say that all your time. So
Yes.
after a while, you have to build.
Yes.
So Kabi build this thing after hurricane by us there in Pong. Kabi build and Kabi house is still there.
Piper,
Yeah.
you mentioned man on the bed. You mean, what were they doing under the bed? Sleeping under the
Sleeping
bed?
under the bed, yeah, because the bed is a high bed. It's space, you know. It's space.
So some on top and,
and some
be-
under.
and some on the side.
And some on the side,
People have
yeah.
to some people have to get the reference, you know.
So that, listen to me now, man. Is now people get big and people have apartments and making space for us. But the reality is that when you're from small places, you have to do what you have.
So you had the Dovers at the back, and you had Terry Green
Terry had Al Capone
and
their sisters
at the front.
Elaine and
Yes,
and baby Felicia
at the front.
and your mother Valda.
Right. Again, a small, pretty house.
Yeah.
And right there was a standing pipe.
And there's a pipe, right?
Yeah.
And that's right by my mixed school wall there.
Uh-huh.
And that side of mixed school be what? The toilet, the teacher, it was Miss Christian.
Yes,
Yeah,
Miss
Miss
Christian.
Christian, yeah.
You know what time?
And then where that veranda.
Yes.
And you know, mixed school was
And no, you forget the Pirates.
yeah.
Ivy there, Pamela.
And Pamela, they
Yes.
pass on, and Pirate itself passed Fabian.
Uh-huh.
And across from them, we go to Ken Carl and Sherwin.
Yes.
Ken play everything for Dominica: football, cricket, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Carl was the goalkeeper, and Sherwin was the basketballer. All Miss Alice Sherwin played sports for Dominica, and their uncle would have been. What did I get? Harris, the man. The lawn tennis man.
Which one? Are you talking to Charles Brinsley? Charles? No.
Not Vincent Charles, man.
Brinsley. No.
Mary.
Oh, Mary.
Oh yeah,
Mary.
Ninian
Yes,
Mary.
Ninian Mary. Ninian
Yeah,
Mary.
Ninian Mary.
That's the top man in his time. We were top man.
Harry Spence, man.
Harry Spence.
The managing director of Harry Spence.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. These people did good things for us, because right there you had the man D-Les, Michael D-Les with the
Yes.
dog
Yes. In Pong.
in Pong.
But before we go, I just want to read this. We have 105 people actually looking on. Buffer said, Cecil Joseph, this is Angie from Bath Estate. Wulu big sister in St. Croix. Oh, I know Angie, yes. Anthony Mead said, Mr. Adams, I used to sleep under my mother's bed.
What?
My mother's bed was a high bed. So it's not like that, as Mr. Piper said, that was the ghetto. That's all we raised. That's all we raised. I think you trying to say that's all we raised in. And we made ourselves.
Let me ask you,
Yes.
Piper.
Yeah.
That kind of bed they had, was it the kind of bed with the kind of staircase going up? That wrong bed, that big like Mabonto had?
Some people had that bed. But normally what they would have done is to take the 2x6, I think it was, and make poles. And they would put the bed on it.
Oh, okay.
So it gets higher.
Our bed had a step on our bed. Yeah, there was a step on it.
Yes.
Your bed had a step?
We had a step, yeah. That's a bed we bought by Mawson's, you know, right by police station there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
60s, yeah.
Wow.
60s.
So now I was saying to you, Piper, and you're talking about. I want people to know that Peter is talking about the closer area to where he is. We're not talking about lower down Cork Street.
No,
Robbing,
on top Cork Street,
yeah,
on
he's
top.
talking about on the top of Cork Street. You know,
Yeah.
from the police station coming down, from
coming
Bathroot coming down.
Yeah,
So yes, Peter. Then you had the Pirates.
Yeah.
living inside of the yard.
Inside, yeah.
From
Behind Patrick John and them.
yeah, behind Shirley.
Shirley and them, yeah.
Right. And on the side of Paben, that was his name.
Barben, yeah.
Barben.
No, Barben at the front.
Barben at the
And
front.
there's a yard between Barben and Shirley John and them
Yes.
going inside to pirate.
And that
And then
we should tell
yeah.
people was a yard to get to the other side of Great Marlborough Street.
that if you know pirate and them to go inside, because
Yes.
Fabian and them would be selling like everybody else, tablet and those things.
Right.
And yeah, gooseberry.
Gooseberry.
So there are people coming and them buy them and buy too.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, Fabian and them brought up like that. Fabian, Julie, Julie.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one again? Jacqueline,
Mervyn,
Brian, Dale. Dale is a little brother. And you know
Brenda.
these fellas. Yeah.
all these are my cousins.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Mr. Corgi, yeah, your
my
uncle.
yeah.
So these people there, you know, they had the place. The place was alive because everybody, Cecil, everybody had somewhere to buy. You know, these people have their things selling, and let me tell you something. I love the gooseberry by them.
Yes.
They'd make gooseberry, they'd make jam. You know, the sticky tablet, those things, that's confectionaries, man. It's not like you have to go in a supermarket and buy those things. You can buy a thing on a stick, you buy a tablet in a paper, you buy and...
Someone told us, that's Janet Ostry, she said, do not forget Mr. Yankee.
Me say Mr. Yankee and Orion. Orion.
Yeah, Orion, that's my son's great grandmother.
But don't leave
Right.
Mr.
She
Yankee.
died before Yankee's house.
Before Yankee.
Yeah,
by the
Orion
step,
Road.
by the wall.
So some loader.
By
Yes,
the wall from
yeah.
the wall of mixed school there.
Right, that's correct.
No, Mr. Yankee, did he
Yes.
have any children?
Yes, man.
Yes, man.
And was he married? Who was he married to?
A white woman.
A white
A
woman.
white woman.
How many
Pat-
children did he have?
Pat Pierre. Married to one is having
I
three
think
girls.
Friggers, yeah, that's correct,
Friggers.
Peter. Friggers.
Okay.
Yeah, Friggers. They had this. All of us used to watch himself and Karam as the bourgeois in the area.
Yeah, the big man.
Yeah, you know. And then Peter, you had Miss Solomon higher up.
Yep.
And
Miss
then
Solomon.
yes,
Hilma Solomon. You know, she'll be the sister to Valda.
Valda who?
Valda for Terry and them.
Oh yes, I know that.
Yeah, they're sisters.
Yes.
Same mother, same father.
Yes.
Just like those people are done by Bunji and them there.
Mm-hmm.
All that is one family, you know. And just like, what's his name, Leroy Blackman.
Yes.
Leroy Blackman mother was a sister, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, these people from Corleo, you know.
How did Pirate got his name?
Well, pirate in him. They just call him pirate. They call the people and them pirates. So there's just a name like that. It was the song pirate.
Yes.
And then the name just said to him, and he said would call himself pirate.
No, a lot of people may not remember at the top of Cork Street, they had a shop, the same side we're talking about. That shop of Tico shop. Yes, people forget Merlin and Tico,
Tico.
you know, and Martin Burns.
Martin Burns.
They were actually the ones helping their mom to sell in that shop there. You remember that shop?
And then that house, they built that house in Block now.
Yes.
That's the Block house. That was where Commodore was.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where Joe. Yeah, that house is story, man. And then Fube, but you know, Fube and
Well, I was about to tell you the popular family in our growing up was the Fubes.
The Fubes.
Yes. Yeah.
But Fube and them did pretty well there because most of them outside there. Most of them, yeah.
The two
apart
brothers died.
from David, that is Billy's David,
Yes.
and Clifton.
Mm-hmm.
You know, four.
Yeah.
Them man didn't die in the Baba State water business.
Yes.
Them boys would be there. Them man two Calypsonians and
Doing well.
you know Clifton was a pan man.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's my first pan.
Yep. And he was just a fireman. Even though he's a fireman, you'd still agree, yo, to survive, we have to do many things to survive.
Yes.
Everyone doesn't get a job. Everyone doesn't have subject passes. But that doesn't mean because you don't have that you can't survive. So this man would go and take his pan and solo. And Clifton was good. Billy wasn't bad either. And Billy would be in Raymond Lawrence
Dance group.
Billy and Billy. You know, Prince La and Billy. And Billy. You know what I mean? So it was just a one love in a sense.
And people need to know that the Fubes are Kenny G's uncles.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the Fubes. Yeah.
You know Kenny G was a national footballer.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
So, by Cork Street, we have so much talent there. We don't know what to do with it.
No. We going on the side of the Fubes. No, you had I'm not so sure the name, but it's Rhoda St. John's mother and father. They lived on that same side, with a little shop. You remember
Right.
Rhoda St. John?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then you had the big Karam, the man himself.
No. After that would be where Robert was living.
Oh yes, Robert for
And
Pirates.
then you'd come to the thing where Karam made the start with Mr.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Scaling.
Yes.
Scaling Challenger.
You know, a lot of people have forgotten Robert in that area. Robert, as I said, was the brother of Ivinia
And Pamela.
And
Robert was a footballer. Me says you have a lot of pictures at his home. Robert, you in Massac now, if you're listening, someone tell Robert, man. Robert had pictures, and every Sunday Robert had music. You're talking about nightbox music. Robert had the music of his Sunday, just let that go.
Someone told us that we forget Doremi, Lindsay, Hitler, and Primus.
Lindsay and Hitler and Elvis and Coco.
Yes.
They'd be living on Bath Road.
Yes.
After Long Coffee and them. Long Coffee home, that is their home.
Okay.
There's a lady called Madizi. That's the house where don't look at them, is the man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let me tell you now, my brother,
That's
next
Bath
house
Road.
be Miss Maney.
Yeah, that's Bath Road.
Bath
No, coming back onto Cork Street. Deliberately doing this, so after the Karam, we spoke of Veronique's grandmother earlier on, and then we talk about we had a very popular lady.
Irene Peltier.
No, after Irene Peltier, sorry, because you mentioned Irene Peltier before. There was a very popular lady.
Ma Wilma.
What Ma Wilma? Tell us about Ma Wilma.
Well, Ma Wilma used to make crab backs. Crab backs. So, and then in Ma Wilma yard, Harry and Curtis Tinsellas were two scientists. Curtis originally was a drummer, and Curtis would take out pictures.
He played for
Swinging Stars. And Curtis was a drummer, and then they had a band house inside they called Weedies, where fellas like Ronnie Geese, Slash Manis, Elvis Dow. Remember Bako? Bako brother, Elvis and Fabian. Them fellas would be coming and play music, and then there was Zwil. These guys would come and play music, man. The Weedies band. Weedies. Slash, all the fellas, if all you listening, call and talk about all you. And them man would give us music in the afternoon. Music. So you see, but we raise up with things around us. Maybe you go from Curtis and you go up and you pass in the shortcut at the back by the Huxley house, and you pass by Lucy, that is Ashton Parker mother. When you come out there, you're in another part of Pong again, to pass through the shortcut either by.
So that is important. Because I wanted to drift your mind a little bit. Someone just said to you, you forget John Boston. Yeah, John Boston driving the truck. No, Peter. In all of these things that we are talking about, when you talk on the northern side of Cork Street by the Pirates and also by the Huxleys, by the Shillingfords, there was a shortcut, a shortcut.
Yeah.
So there are two shortcuts in close proximity.
Yeah.
And on the southern side, where Rennick mother lived, there was another shortcut to go by Astafan. And then we're talking about Wilma.
By Joe Willis.
Yeah. We're talking about by Wilma.
Solo.
And then we talk about by Solo. Yes, go ahead. In the yard by Solo, you had who are the people living in the yard there?
Okay, Solo and them living there.
Eto.
And the other bad man called Ma Winter.
Yes.
There's this guy Cadet Smother.
Yes.
And then next would be what? Our SME Carpenter.
Yes, Mr. Christian.
Mr. Christian.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr.
That is Clarence Christian father.
Clarence Christian's father, yeah.
Yeah. And you had Eto living in the yard.
Yeah, well, Eto is for solo.
Yes, Eto was also in the yard.
Eto,
Then you had Brother Me.
Eto Annie Brother Me. That is one family, you know.
Yes, in that yard.
Brother and sisters. And their mother, Mama Tail.
And there you could pass in that yard there to get across to Filsland too, to get to Astafan.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, man. They're at the back there.
You reaching by Mr. Willie. So you see that all those Shascott. All those Shascotts. Are they still there?
Well, no, the shortcut would be the block up from Astafan way from that Filsland there, that block out. I think someone bought the land and there's some issue, some whatever. But I don't know why they're not starting building. I don't know if they completed everything.
You forgot my Wilma ice cream.
Ozzy mother?
No, my Wilma was making ice cream.
No. She used to make thing, man. Crab box.
Ah, okay.
Crab box.
No, I want us to go back a bit. And I said, Cork Street was the life.
But he forgot a very important person, man.
The Britons?
No, man.
Karam?
No, but what about Mabonto?
Oh, yes, Mabonto. Mabonto is the next house.
But that's where we just talking about we passing there, my brother.
Yeah, my brother. But on that side, there's Mabonto.
Yeah.
Bonto and Mr.
Used
Bonto.
to have a little shop.
And then there's the Ida Ring.
Can you imagine in that little area they had?
Ida Ring come late.
You had Mabonto shop. You had Peter Piper mother shop.
Yes.
And who else? You had free shops in that
We
area.
had Malaron.
Yes,
Greg
Malaron.
Stephen mother, grandmother.
Yes. You had this shop across by Bonto on Cork Street. So they had like 4 shops in close proximity.
Shops,
Peter, you remember these 4 shops?
Well, okay. Mabonto was little things. And then when Maudlin come, Maudlin had a shop there.
Yes.
Yeah, selling rum.
Huh?
Yes.
Big
But then across Maudlin, across the street, straight across, that would be Malaron. Malaron had a shop there forever, and then that's where Tony and them would be staying for some time.
Right.
Huh?
Yes.
When Tony and them came there, they rented there, and I think Malaron there, and you know, the place, and then if you go down Coxie and got shop here.
Lower down. No shop.
No, the shop would be Zabo.
Yeah.
That's
Upper Lane. That's Upper Lane.
That is Upper Lane.
Yeah.
So we were the place. We were the place in Cork Street.
But you see, where I want to go is there were 2 famous ladies in Cork Street that always had a ding dong.
Ma Wilma and the red lady,
Red lady?
Ma Beulah. Clear skin and she had a patch on her face.
Beulah was one. There was another one.
Beulah.
There was another one.
And
Ma Wilma and the mother of Ivinia and Pamela.
No, their mother would be living up. That lady didn't speak noise.
No. I'm telling you, Ma Wilma and the Pirates grandmother.
Oh, yeah, boy. Oh, yeah, the
A dark lady.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, the black lady.
Yes.
That lady was a quiet lady, boy, living right up.
No. I'm talking about the lady in the yard. Robert's mother.
Boy, she
Boy,
like
Peter,
the
Peter, you forget that.
boy,
Peter,
mom's like the
Peter, you forget that.
No, boy, I tell me, I know thing. I know her children was making noise.
Vinia and Pamela were part and
Ma
parcel.
Wilma. But apart from where our shop was direct out, because our shop there
Right,
on the
that's
side
correct.
by Oxley House there.
Yes.
The house that was there, like a white kind of lady with a patch on her face.
Yes.
She had a son Alex born in Guadeloupe. Ma Beulah.
She
Beulah
lived after
Laron
she
is
come
a
and live in
little
Baffin State.
Beulah Laron. No, she never lived Baffin State.
She never lived in Baffin State?
Nope. She died in Cox. As a matter of
Well, I
fact,
have
she
the wrong
died. They
person.
killed her.
Yeah.
She was killed and nobody, whatever that happened, and
I
that
have
she
the
just
wrong
gone.
person.
And her son gone to Guadeloupe, is there he was born. Alex will come back Dominica. You understand? And that's just it. And Alex will be playing music by Ma Wilma. Now see that, Ma Wilma making noise with Ma Beulah, but then Ma Beulah child going by Ma Wilma. And they have nothing. Because sometimes parents making noise and
children
were not in that bus. You can't be making noise, that's not your problem. You understand? Like me personally, when I come out,
Beltin, the person someone tell me Beltin. Ma Beltin.
Well, Beltin is just your name.
Ma Beltin.
Somebody calling?
Yes, someone is calling. Let's take that person. Let's see what that person has to say. Good evening to you, caller.
Hello.
Hey, your partner, boy.
My cousin, good evening. Who's there? Peter said my belting wasn't making noise, boy. I'm really laughing that.
Your partner.
I know. I try to define or describe Cork Street to help Peter because, as you guys said, that was the area of activity in Roseau. And there is so much to talk about Cork Street that I won't blame Peter if he continues to forget. But let me tell you, if I had to describe Cork Street, I would say, well, it's the gateway to Roseau. And I would look at it as being moving from the mountain to the sea. Because from the top, I would take it as a mountain, and then you end up in the sea. Right, but I have to say that, in spite of everything else, Cork Street produced brilliant and notable men and women. And even the good and the bad that you're enjoying hearing about right now. I know your focus is on the belting. Wilma, Manjay, the double characters in your own right and in your own places. They brought life to the party, as you want to.
I like that.
Because they just felt like there had to be some form of disturbance every day, to create that kind of honeymoon or paranoid people. On the whole, they were just good neighbors, put it that way. Because I live in Toronto and there's a saying, insurance company, look out for your closest neighbor, and that is the motto about it. But all I'm saying is, we had great people like Mrs. Ilma Solomon, we had Mrs. Celia Nicholas, we had Central, Regional St. Chillingford, we had Mr. Yankee, we had Ivy Peltier, we had the Larons, our first carnival queen, we had Mrs. Alicia Green, we had Dick Gilberton, we had the Carams, we had Deep Tex, we had the former president, Mr. Senior.
Longest.
We had Davises, the Cork Street had it all. It's just the gateway that made the connection to the various developing outlets or surroundings. And we had great sportsmen, we had Calypso King, we just had it. So there's nothing to really compare Cork Street with any other streets in Roseau.
We had everything.
So that's why it's like the hallmark, and if you have to include your story, in the area of sports, Bala, it had it all. It had it all. And, that's why sometimes even Cecil would try to fit himself,
in the trio. Take your blows.
And he made himself available. You made that kind of connection where you have to be part and parcel of it, and to bring it further afield, he wanted to become a member of Facebook. He was good enough to be on that team.
That's true, Rennie. Rennie, that easy boy.
But I'm truly enjoying it by Peter is sharing on the program.
Mm-hmm.
And
but before you go, Rennie, before you go, Rennie, tell us a little bit about Beltin and Mahilma. These are two notorious people. There
were two women. There were two notable women. I put in the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I also had a family member by the name of Wilfred.
Oh yes, Wilfred. Yes.
They call him Ted Koshaw. Ted Koshaw, Miss Irene.
Yes.
And
drinking a lot.
He was the man that could just ignite the fire. And anytime Ted Koshaw would pass. Go ahead.
You had to. He didn't like Eugenia Charles at all. And to get Mona vex, he would pass by Mona and start to kiss Eugenia Charles.
You just have to say Ted Koshaw. Ted Koshaw.
Yes.
Ted Koshaw.
There were two people there. Wilma Johnson, which is Curtis Henry and Harry Roy's mom, and there was Karen Johnson, that is the brother of
Jennifer.
Former Prime Patrick John's wife,
brother, and Jennifer father.
So
Jennifer Johnson.
Jennifer Red Boom Boom father, right? So when these people would meet, there would be some kind of friction, and by some means, some disturbance would surface or rise. And Wilfred under his alcohol, would
Take two.
just start to just build the fire. He would tell Wilma something, Wilma would come back and say something. Probably in the meantime, Ivinia and Belton passed in. They would probably look at him, then he just deviate, he fell onto them, and he's Roso.
And Mabula.
Roso.
And Mabula Renick.
Mabula was,
She doesn't talk,
Mabula
She just put in the patch face there and she making a sound.
But it was nice being around these people, in spite of all their little ups and downs. At the end of the day, we became one family. Because what people seem not to realize is children will be children. And there will always be a little bit of disturbance in growing up. And one thing I will always maintain, as my parents always taught us, in our lifetime, don't bring police before anybody's home or house. And that, I say that mainly because we were kids playing in the street. And that's why we had a division between the Belkins. Because they felt that they owned a certain area of the streets. And Melvin in particular was playing like he was the Pharaoh. But he wasn't the Pharaoh. Because there was a majority of 5 Samsons in our family that could defeat Pharaoh at any time without God's help. So at the same time, he created a disturbance. And then he went to call his mother. Not listening to what happened, she resorted to go to the police station and brought police to our home. And our mother said, our parents said, you see this thing? Never in your lifetime bring police to anybody. And from this day, stay away from these people. And we grew up with that notion until we got mature enough. And then we became friends. Even the people who bought police before our homes, when they grew older, they realized their ignorance and what it meant. And that is just one lesson for people. Children will be children. Let children play. Let them do what they have to do. And if you realize some peers are negative influence on your children, then you would ask them to stay away. Other than that, let children be children. Let them enjoy themselves. Creating division among children, and then later when you get big, the children become friends. And they like mean, sleeping together, playing sports together. What sense does it make? So that, to me, was one hallmark that remained with me forever.
Before you go, Renick, tell us about the shortcuts, especially the one at the back of your house or the front of your house. I'm not so sure which one is the back
that
or the front.
one no longer exists because we are different people coming into the neighborhood, and everybody wants their privacy. So people created fences and gates, and just deterred the whole movement. But then you could move from Bath Road, from the Botanical Gardens, right through Bath Road
To River
through
Street.
Virgin Lane to River Street. Just connection. And Cork Street has to be part of that connection, So all in all, Cork Street was the street. And that's how I can look at it. Without Cork Street, there will be no Roseau. Simple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I like how Renick placed it. From the mountain to the sea. Without Cork Street, there will be no Roseau. The life of the party.
Of course.
Of
course.
So yes, Peter. So you're telling us a little bit about the people in Cork Street.
Yeah.
No, we didn't speak about the Burtons. The Burtons were a fortunate family.
Yeah.
So you can help us to get an understanding as to who these people were.
Okay, well, the Burtons, what I know, my Burton, one of her sister would be my two-law. That is Paul and them, mother, Paul, Daryl, and all. They and my Burton would be sisters. And it's a family business, my brother. It's a family and family and family. Look at Cecil. We saw, what is his name again? The house where Venus was.
Mr. Winston.
Mr. Winston. Mr. Winston live in that big house here alone, and we just saying, man, he's a look at how, you know. Your little training, Miss Burton. But mango season is not when it has school. But sometimes a mango can fall by you. You understand that? And then, my brother, it had all those kind of, look at that. Look at all your road there. Fields Lane. How many schools in Fields Lane? You have Miss Winston.
Teacher Rose.
You have Teacher Rose. You have Miss Burton. And down by Ballets and them there is a kind of a school here, because when you have the Carlton Phillip and them people there, the Carlton Phillip and them would, as you say, Carlton Phillip and them was original drummer and them man playing the steel band. So them places always had a life in it. You understand what I'm telling you? Look at Carlton Phillip children. The three girls were three exceptional netballers. They are going to Convent High School. I mean, Carol Fortosh was it for Convent. Dawn was it. Gil was it. These children, these girls said they could play. You see, when she Carol Phillip jump, and says Carol Williams now, when she jump and take a ball and she land and she open like that. But Ja was that day, you know, my brother. These girls, they knew the hard way. And when they went to Convent High School, in their time, they were the netballers of the school.
And if we have to continue talking about Cork Street, Peter, Mary Davis Pier was in Cork Street.
Yep.
Lindy, DeQuentel.
Lord Lynn.
Lindy DeQuentel.
Yeah, Lord Lynn would call him. Lord Lynn.
Lord Lynn.
Lord Brian DeQuentel.
Yes.
And Linda Esmond.
We heard Rennick made mention of the former president, Mr.
Signoret. But we play football on Sundays, yeah? Before he was president, while he was president, our ball go there, we have nothing to worry about. They'll send that back for us, you know. Police guard in there, they can't tell us nothing. So Sundays, you can't have that in Roseau again on a Sunday morning, afternoon, man, playing football there. Tony, John, we brothers, Globe, you know what I mean? Hey man, Cork Street was lovely, you know. Let me tell you something. After Hurricane David, where was the action? Cork Street by Karam.
But I find
Disco. Yes, you're right, Peter, because
Yes.
after Hurricane David, the disco, the dance was downstairs of Karam.
By Karam.
By Karam.
Downstairs,
That's where the light
brother,
was.
then they have
Karam was the only one with the generator.
They have curfew, and when you see, we fellas there want to stop. When they let go, everybody have to run, but then the police just freak out on people. They just freak out. They are arresting nobody for that, you know. Even though it's 7 o'clock, but when it's done, get at your home, man. Boy, let me tell you, man, curfew was times, you know, Cecil. Curfew, the defense was coming. We hear the song. At the same time, they would put up their lights. When the light come now, we see the light, we just run out from the step and we run in our yard. You know? Probably Baptist State would have a different thing to us. But in Roseau Central, then Cork Street would be outside. Across the thing by Malaron there, the steps by Ma Sebot would be there sitting. And when you see, we hear the transport, we just run in the yard by brother me, and then we run in the yard by us, and you know what I mean? By our shop, that is. And we safe, or we run in the yard and they can't come there and look for you because you're at your home already. But Cork Street was just, yeah man, Cork Street was Cork Street is.
And also, Peter, as we're talking about commerce, there was a place that every young boy and every young girl used to go, outside of the adults who would go in there to buy their records. But every young boy would go and buy a comic.
By CBs.
Or Archie Boy. Or Mills and Boone.
Joghead.
You know? I mean,
Commando, Cowboy.
I mean, let's talk a little bit about that.
My brother, that's where we get our kicks. Because when we go to high school, my brother, it's not primary school we go in. So that way, man, we go and get books. And everybody have a book and we pass in books. So one man can buy 4 books. One buy that book, I buy that book. Then we pass books around. You know?
Yeah, but Peter, I don't know whether you witnessed it as well. When you went by CB's, there was a Time magazine, the Newsweek. But there was also something where you were not allowed as a young boy to look at.
Is it X-rated?
By with Playboys.
Playboys, yeah, no, there's another set. We can't be in that higher than you.
Yeah, you are at the back. At the back of
Sam.
Let me say,
you know who used to be very young at that time?
fellas, behave.
You know who used to be very young at that time? Huh?
What's that?
You know who used to be us at that time?
The Playboy, the
Kazimi.
hustler. Yeah, boy,
Bing Kazimi.
By Mr. Markin, you
I remember Bing Kazimi worked there for a long time. And Bing would veil you to
make
see
sure
him
you
going.
don't touch that
And then
boy.
he just come by, stand by you, knowing that, my brother, you know you
Boy,
can't go
that
further.
is not for you, boy.
Yeah, that ain't enough for
Well,
you.
because what the Casimir, that was Casimir Brothers, yeah, that's what series made. Casimir Brothers, and Bing is a Casimir, that's where that's where he work, yeah.
And that's where everybody's going to buy their Sparrow record.
Sparrow record.
These guys.
Your
Sparrow,
Nat King
your
Cole,
guitar, your
Nat
guitar
Guitar,
string.
Nat
yes.
King Cole, Elvis Presley,
Yeah, guys just go there and buy the records.
Right.
So that was the place to go.
James Brown, Clarence Carter. All he had a lot of records.
So Cork Street, in a sense, as we said, was the place to be as a boy growing up. Let us talk about sports in Cork Street, especially on a Sunday.
Did we mention one fella? I didn't hear it. Deputer.
Oh yes, Erenic made mention of.
Emil and them. Let me tell you something.
Before you go to the shop.
Where you take your
So
picture?
give you a story.
Yes.
When I went to school in 75, before 75, SME had something doing. Every time DPEX go in and take out pictures of the SME classrooms and put them in by DPX.
Yeah.
When I started 75, that didn't continue.
I saw my own the other day.
Yeah.
I have one.
And they have pictures of the fellas, and when SM went at the revolution and they say in 73 they kick who they kick, I know, but I won't talk about it. When that happened, my brother, SME, every time you go, there are pictures that form. We're not in school, so you know what, that form, and boss, I'd like to see these schemes come back, man. Because SME was a young school, yeah.
Yes.
82, we get 50 years here, man. When I live in school, 82 year. And 7 years in school, man. When I leave, it was 50 years, so that means my second year in fifth form, I didn't prepare for second year, but I had to. When I come, it was me going against you and Jenna, Treasurer, Jenna Packet and Cecil Joseph. These fellas in arts class and in science class. You know, when Peter Piper go and he call himself the bomb. I tell him it's only on the bomb to explode, only have to tick me. But and I beat them, man, for the treasurer, But I doing physics, chemistry, biology, and maths. 4 subjects.
Peter was a very popular guy in SMA, so that's why Peter won.
What you did, Peter?
I was doing 4 subjects as a second fifth from biology, chemistry, physics, and maths. And I beat in fellas that doing accounts and commerce. If I do accounts and commerce after school, I do that way.
Yes.
But Cecil, you're popular too, because when it was the gold man, when you come in, you that's the gold man for SME, just like before when it was John Scotland,
Yeah.
John Scott, that used to score for SME, Scotty, and he worked at the prison. That man was the gold man for SME. When he come, Cecil come, boy, Cecil, all the fellas had it, boy.
Yeah, we were good.
Yeah, because let me tell you see brother Jimin, he put a law on us. For you to play sports, you have to fail 2 subjects. If you fail 3, you can't play sports. You can be the best sportsman.
Can't play sports.
So, if you want to play sports for the school, pass 7 subjects.
Yes. Or else you cannot.
Or 8 or all 9.
Yeah. Or else you just cannot
You
represent
just
the school.
cannot play.
Yeah.
If you fail 3, body, who are you?
You could be the best.
He doesn't know that.
Yeah.
But one thing I like, he gave fellas like Don Lioga the chance to play for Harlem. Some from third form Don was playing for Harlem, yeah. Yeah, Brother Jimmy, you have
As a matter of fact, Brother Jimmy gave everybody who had the talent the opportunity to play for a senior team,
Gary Moore
Yes.
never played basketball for SMA. He played for Granby all his time. And the little boy in school, Sneaky.
Sneaky was good.
But let me tell you now, Gary Moore playing NBA for us before we see NBA in Dominica,
Oh,
Gary Blow just come and
Gary
just
could
back
Gary
go.
could take a ball from the forward line and go right down and the baseline again and of his opponent and score.
But
He was rough.
Gary Moore used to do high jump and long jump, He was my housemate in St. Michael's.
He was St. Michael's.
Yeah, Gary was good.
So now So let's go because we have to come to SMA. I want us, but I want us to deal with the Cork Street area. Let's talk about Cork Street and sports on a Sunday, especially in the area where your mom had the shop and Rennick and them had by the Carams. That was the popular area. What would you remember about sports on a Sunday
Well, fellas
morning?
playing small goal
Mm-hmm.
in the road,
Yes.
and the whole road is ours. From Karam to Mr. Dickey Burton there.
Yeah.
Credit union wasn't there as yet. Credit union wasn't built. And man just playing sports, man, Sunday. And then when fellas finish, it's the same crew that have to go to River and Behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Or who want to come by us and beef come down in our yard and Behavior. But let me tell you something.
We used to play a lot of tactics.
But tactics was what with the
The fish net.
nets.
Yeah, fish net.
And make a 50 or 100,
Yeah, 100.
and just put that on them, put wet that and put
Yeah.
that, put that.
You have to exchange, your
Your left to right.
left to right, from left to right.
Because when you stay one at the same time, you're going to get a cramp.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to your left foot.
Yes.
Where your left foot, you come to your right foot, and boys.
Sometimes you have to do the tactics with the ball too. Sometimes you do the win ball, to get.
Or you're heading.
Yeah.
You're heading.
What about heading? Peter, I don't know. I don't know if you played heading, heading competition on Cork Street. No, I know that they played in heading in Cork Street, but I don't know if you did.
Yeah.
But it was a very popular
sport
area in terms of sports, your area, and so. And the life of the white one, how you call it, the Wabio? Speakeasy?
Yeah, your speakeasy fellas.
Yeah.
You have you.
Wabio, you ever had that?
No, not he had that. I mean,
We always had like
his mother shop had it. His mother shop. This lady, Beltin,
Beltin.
you had it.
Mabonto had it.
Yes, Mabonto had it. Close proximity.
Modeling had it.
Modeling.
Modeling had it.
Modeling. By
So-
Mabonto.
So there are free shops selling the alcohol. Give us your mother's shop. Give us tell us what is happening in your mother's shop.
When fellas would be drinking, they was always come and beg people, buy me a drink. We started a thing they call half bottle before it would be a gill of rum or half gill of rum. Then we started just a half bottle. So you buy a half bottle rum for fellas, it's much cheaper than you buy a shooter for everybody. A half, look at half first. Fellas have their half first and they controlling it. You know, one man have that bottle and a fella come and buy. Yo, now we forget about take our sale. Put that now we first to buy a half, Take one in that sale now, so you put your money and they call a kin. Everybody that come, they call a kin, they give them from what they have. So then, rather than they have to buy individual, some people buy the individual shoot when they're ready. They would collect. They buy half first. So that half first now. Everybody that put their money in it now, that is theirs too. But it always have moppers. It always have fellas that sitting at the back and they just waiting. And fellas you buy one the cigarette, and the cigarette. But some fellas you cannot drink and don't smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So then they smoke a cigarette. They want to drink a thing. I take a grog and a fag.
A grog and a
A
fag.
grog and a fag, a drink and a smoke. And yo, that's just how it is. So when fellas come to town. Think of Roseau at the time, my brother. How much rum shop it have? Apart from Lakou. And not everybody want to go in Lakou. So when they come Cork to the official there. For example, fellas come by Karam and buy some parts. But look at shop right there, boy. Fellas just slide down. Working for Karam at that time. Mr. Frampton, Marley Frampton. The man is a accountant. You would be inspired, Mr. Bain. Them girls like Barbara, Challenger, Barbara and Chrissy. Them girls that looking for Karam, them clerical girls here. That man, let me tell you something, man. Karam, who's the Karam sent by us and by, all Karam children, Jackie and Nadia twins, Peter and Paula twins. And they would have Roslyn, and before Roslyn would be Johnny. Jokam.
So they'll come and get.
No. Them people there,
Mm-hmm.
when they come and buy whatever they buying, if it's for their whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot come and buy on the fellas in the road. You have to make something for them.
So you have to buy. a white one
You
for
have to
them.
pay your tax. You have to buy something
Wow.
for them. So at that time, buy a little bottle for them. So the bottle is cheaper than
Yeah.
individual, and that is either they have it or we have it. We controlling it. We that controlling or they that controlling. But Cecil, boy,
From 5 o'clock in the morning.
yeah. From 5. Let me tell you, early we have to open the shop. Early, when you open early, people know, well, look at the other shops, some man around Roseau. Them people opening till what time? So early we will have sale. I remember people be leaving Virgin Lane and come and buy us. There's Miss Mildred in Virgin Lane selling certain things. She's not selling alcohol. So Virgin Lane people will be coming down and get their coffee, their sugar, their milk, their rice, their flour. Look at flour. Remember when you were younger, Cecil, flour used to run short. Plenty.
Flour and sugar.
Flour, sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I don't know why. Then they come with ETB.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people want to buy those things and they cannot get it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you cannot get it,
And that was in the 80s, eh?
my brother, 80s, 70s.
Yeah,
and
70s.
late 70s, you know,
Right.
into the 80s. As Peter, you're right, you know.
You
Right.
know,
That we couldn't get flour, we couldn't get rice.
Right. Let me ask
I mean,
you.
it was difficult sometimes. No bread.
my mother bread, you go to school
Mhm.
and you don't get recess and you have to wait. Either somebody bring a recess for you or they give you money to buy recess from people in school, boss. Boss, that was this. Sugar just running short. Sugar just run short, and people buying sugar now to go in the country and make rum with it. When they
Wow.
make the rum and they sell back, they make plenty more than. So
What-
then you're looking for sale,
Mhm.
but sometimes in reality, you have to count your sugar for your people that buying. Because when they haven't got, everybody going everywhere and buy. You can let money come and let money go.
Right. Did you all ever hoard sugar? Like, for instance, you must buy something else before
Oh, yeah,
you...
to get, yeah, man, it must have that, of course. For to get sugar, exactly. For to get milk, carnation milk, you get rice, you must. Boss, these were days, you know, man. Look, hey, man, and all you saying, Dominica not developing.
So
See
you-
the difference it is now?
Yeah.
But
See-
really, see, like now, so it have a certain time. Boy, sugar run short. The sugar thing that come and finish, boy, everybody running for sugar. Where I can get sugar? Now, you know that some little shops that doesn't be selling plenty. So at that time, what they have, what happens?
They're
You
selling.
have sale.
Yeah, they're selling.
You have sale because go in that shop, boy, that shop, people never want to go in. They go in and buy 10 Pong of sugar. Is that it out? And they are right. Hey, man,
Those were the days.
economics is just something else.
By the way, let me ask you another question while we're on the shop business. Did your mother stop sell kerosene after 6 o'clock?
Well, we had that. But I don't think that 6 o'clock thing really was really for us. I mean, them kind of thing, man didn't really believe in that. Nah. Sell in here for me. I sell in here.
So if you're in the shop, people come for kerosene after 6
After
o'clock.
6
You're
o'clock, yeah,
selling
nah, man.
salt, you're selling
Anything.
anything that come by you.
Because it's when they get their time. Some they not always at their home, you know, they're working. And they come down. They say they're looking for gardens and gardens go out somewhere. And now they come back. Now they want it. You can tell people wait for till tomorrow now, man. You have to serve them. But it had some kind of an evil thing, a kind of a saucy for buying that. And them things I say I above that. I'm above those things. I never worry about that.
Now, Peter, the life of the shop, all right, wasn't just Mona. The children used to be part of the
Oh
shop.
man, me and well, let me tell you, when mommy go, when you get up in the morning, mommy and daddy come and open the shop. Then okay, school is 8 o'clock, man go to school. When I come to school at 1 o'clock, Cecil, I always have a key for the shop. At a certain time, I had a room in the shop, at the back of the shop. The shop had two sides in it at a certain time. When my field bought Albert, Cornell, and they went in there. When they left there, we opened the shop two sides. But at the back of the first shop, that my grandfather had his room there. Then my brother got that room, Julian. And then where the shop was, he had another room, so Julian there and I there. And I always control the key for my mother's shop. Long before I 15 years there. I always have the key for the shop.
So you all actually help in the development of the shop
Yeah, man.
as boys.
As boys, yeah.
I work in the shop and I never think of working for nothing. It's my mother I working for. My younger than life now, man. It's mommy I helping. I don't worry about that. That's why I live a life I don't have to beg. I don't have to steal.
So we dealt with the sports in
Sports.
Cork Street. We dealt with the shops
Commerce.
we dealt with the rural in Cork Street.
And then it's the same Mona was using as your
As
sister.
I'm coming to that.
Give us a chance, man.
Give a chance. I have to come to Mona and Eugenia chance.
Politics.
I cannot not talk about that. But as we on this, I think it's a good time we can come into this. You spoke earlier on of the credit union not in the area where it is now. We used to have the Dorival, that is, he played for Swinging Stars too. He used to work at Stumpy lived in that area, right in the corner.
Right on the corner, yeah.
Right there. We used to call him Kaka Robin. Robin lived in that same area. Make people have an understanding of that little area there.
Okay. You see from that side by Robin, if you go right in, reaching by the same man, Wilfred Charles. Ted Koshaw, Long Coffee Uncle. You reaching right there by Mr. And then from that, when you come out on the road and you come out on Queen Mary Street, you passing by Marbon's shop. Remember Marbon's? Bon's Taxi.
And then later, there was also Marbon's shop and there was a Little Wood. You remember Little Wood? Where guys used to go and do purchase their
yes, you're talking about when you play
Little
the pools.
Little pools. Little Wood, I think it's called.
Yeah, Little Woods, you're right. The Little Woods, yeah.
Little Woods.
Pools, yeah.
To play, like right now we're seeing football.
Yeah.
We're seeing football, so we can almost say
First division football.
I think they're still doing that in England.
Premier
so what
League.
we used to get is this
sheet,
form, this sheet
right.
with all of the teams,
and
we have to say who would score,
how many
goals,
and
so on. And if you get it correct, we're not watching. We have no TV live, but
BBC.
Yeah.
But we would know who's scoring because DBS used to carry the sports at 9:15 in the morning, and so people would have heard the scorers of goals.
Who sold that?
Mr. Charles. Remember?
Mr. Charles, yeah.
You remember Peter who sold that?
Huh?
You remember who sold?
Charles.
Yeah.
Mrs. first wife was my godmother, you know, Mary Charles.
Yeah, Mr.
And
Charles.
down my boys' school there.
Yes.
We had Charles Enterprises.
He used to have Charles Enterprises there, where the Republic Bank is now.
Republic Bank is,
That's where it used to be.
And then Tong had come inside of there.
Yes, right.
And
You know, E.H. Charles had a thing there. E.H. Charles had his workshop in that area.
What is the same Charles? GT Charles.
Right.
GT Charles had be, you know, Gavin Charles.
Right.
Yeah, that's where he had his thing. When he was on by credit union then.
Right. Do you know
down there. People was just moving, renting. When people renting in town, you know.
Yes.
Do you know who bought that, Cecil?
What?
The Charles furniture place. Martin Allen.
Yeah, Martin Allen bought it.
Martin Allen bought it. Now there's a Chinese store there.
Yes.
Chinese
sold
bought
it.
Yeah, he sold it to the Chinese.
Yeah. So now, Peter, so we would remember that area there. Now we see a huge building in that area. Also, on the other side on Cork Street, on the corner of Cork Street and Independence Street, where this huge building is now, Mrs. Winston Sparrow Winston used to be residing there. As you rightly said, everybody, not just children, everybody used to say it was a zombie.
A zombie that big was one man and no servant, no.
Yes.
And we should be at the top up there.
And his room would be to the extreme north.
Yeah.
And
Right.
His dog and himself would be sitting there every day, and every afternoon you pass at 4, you'd see him there. And that's why people used to say he's a Lakou.
Do you know what made him famous, Peter?
Tell us.
Well, he had all the lighters, all the gabotes.
Oh, yes. Let's see what that person has to say. Good evening to you, caller. You're live.
Yes, Cecil, good evening.
Oh, my brother Tony. My real brother Tony.
You live with him?
Tony, yes, we live together. Yes, Tony?
Tony Mead.
Yes, Peter. Yes, Mr. Adam. It's me. Yeah, you all were talking about Liverpool. Millwood was Mr. Charles. And then Mr. Charles went and opened a supermarket.
Right.
But those were the days. Those were the days. My mother used to rent by that lady,
Malaron.
Malaron shop. And she used to be selling the white rum too. That time she was not Christian. So, you know, it was, Cork Street is not national, international street. So I just love the conversation and I love the program and just continue. Renix, I heard Renix talk. You know, it was Marotular, it was everything. Cork Street, you could just say, go buy my piper, go buy Mona sugar, Mona have that. So that was the day. And then I love the program, and that will continue. We have to make it continue.
Thank you.
And thanks a lot for the program.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Thanks, Tony. Yes. Yes, Peter. We can talk a little bit about some of the shortcuts that we knew of in our growing up. You spoke of Cork Street already. Would you be able to remember some of the shortcuts that we had in the heart of Roseau?
Let me tell you something. When you come in on Cork Street, apart from the first one after Boston and them house to pass by us there to go in Pong, you could pass by Yankee there, two sides. When you pass by Yankee, you're going into Chicago's father yard, Mr. Lance. Chicago.
To get into Pong?
And there. So you have to pass in Chicago yard to get there, otherwise you cannot pass in the man yard. And Mr. Lance was a nice man, and David Morancy, and you know, or you jump by Orion, or you pass in the schoolyard for mixed school, and you go through, or you go more down, you pass by Sheba thing there. After Pirate and them, you pass by Lucy. That'll be Ashton Parker mother, and you go inside Pong. You Great Marble Street and Pong. The other one would be by where the credit union is there, by Robin and them yard. And you come out by where it had Continental Inn. Right? And lower down, it ain't got shortcuts there again. Don't go into when you're going down.
You're so right, you know. We used to literally look at the lower part of not just Cork Street, Roseau. The lower part of Roseau. For instance, when you speak of lower part of Roseau, we used to talk about Great George Street. Great George Street going down to the Bayfront. We didn't have any shortcuts in those areas. We didn't get any shortcuts in those areas.
The shortcut on Great George Street would be...
you have one.
To go inside by Hector and then by Maggie and them man there.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You have to get to
shortcut.
No, just a yard it was.
Just a yard, yeah.
Just a yard you getting into Maggie on Great George Street by Jolly's. Just in there, and you a big yard. But lower down of Cork Street.
No, it ain't got shortcut.
No shortcut.
You know the shortcut?
Not even
Pemberton and them. That is shortcut. Climb up house and watch, because you see right there now, Peter Fingal living on that road there, and not Hanover, whatever that road is there.
That's Old Street.
Old Street, right. When we playing football by Barclays Bank and the ball go in the bank, Peter Fingal just jump in and go and take that by George.
George Cookie shot.
George Cookie shot, you know.
George Cookie shot,
yeah. Peter Fingal, that was Peter Fingal bag to just jump, and Kent and Tony there. You know, so we didn't really...
There was no shortcut there.
There was no shortcut. The shortcut was up Cork Street, you know.
Yes.
Up between Queen Mary
Street.
Any
part up Roseau. So you had Virgin Lane up, had shortcuts.
Yeah.
And Virgin Lane down had no shortcuts. When you talk about Fields Lane had no shortcuts.
No shortcuts in
Fields Lane had no shortcuts.
No shortcut.
But Fields Lane had no shortcuts.
Yeah, man.
The upper part of Fields Lane, where?
For instance, where you have Tong.
Yes, where Curtis Tong was from on Fields
That's where
Lane
I live,
to King George Davis Street.
Yeah, you pass
Yeah,
through
you pass
there.
through there.
Yeah.
And before we used to play football in that area there was an
Yeah.
empty lot.
And the
Empty
bakery
lot,
there.
yeah.
the
Yeah,
bakery
before
there.
and you had Willie Bakery
Willie
right
Bakery,
there. So
man.
you're very correct.
Yeah, man, I know the
So
place.
that's the only one that we used
Yeah,
to have.
I know the place.
A little shortcut.
A little shortcut you pass in there.
Yes, by Helen, by your
Helen.
auntie.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, by your auntie there. Yes, I remember
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yes,
man.
that's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one.
that's the but that would have been the only shortcut
Yeah.
lower down
That's the only one.
Roseau.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if River Street had a shortcut lower down.
No. River Street is between Queen Mary Street and Bath Road.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
No.
No.
Yeah, I'm
no.
trying to remember.
No. Not I no.
No, not that I know.
But the lower part,
Moses Bakery,
because the lower part of Roseau would have been business.
commercial,
Right.
commercial, yeah,
But-
commercial.
So there was
yeah.
no need for.
Lower Roseau, you'd have Coin.
You had Koué. You
go in a
Koué.
yard there.
You go in a little yard like we talk
Two
about
pipi,
Maggie.
Yeah, you go in a
Otherwise, you don't have that.
No, it had Koué. It had Koué.
Coin. You go inside there.
You had a little Koué.
Yeah.
Your George Cook lived there was a Koué.
Coin there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Koué. So you had quite a lot of Koué
Coin.
in
Inside of Roseau.
inside of Roseau. Quite a lot.
A Coin.
Again, to more Koué at the upper part of Roseau.
Yeah, because basically, when you go in a coin, for instance, you had this fella, how we used to call him now? We used to call him a sort of Marco guy. Good dancer.
You're talking about I'm telling his name.
By the cinema he used to live.
Like
you
I
go,
said,
you go inside the coin there.
It's not like a face.
Errol,
Marco. In a
yeah.
coin.
Yeah, Errol. Yeah, Errol had a Koué.
You had a coin.
Errol lived in a Koué.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. I remember Errol very well. You know?
And there were some women inside that coin too.
Yes. There was a Koué on
11 Sisters.
in
a coin.
on Old Street.
Right.
Yeah. Right now there is CIS.
CIS.
Peter, what do you know about this place? I will ask my co-host in a while. What do you remember about where CIS was, that big building? What do you remember of this place?
What do you call that yard, boy? Not Halloween. That was the other thing they call the tomb also inside there. You know, the tomb. That was just okay. Don't Kennedy Avenue is where the port.
Yes.
Okay, before the port go for Cole. And that was where soldiers come in, where they would go to buy Warwick's Charles.
In that coin.
You understand?
Yeah.
So by Warwick's Charles coming up, they just run, they just go across there, and there was just life, you know. Because there really was nobody own here, because that's what all the clan CIS come there. Think of it. Huh? That was, I don't like between me and I'm not segregating about that. That's never really a place I knew myself going inside there, because
So let me ask.
But that's where fellas went to make their bomb.
Yes.
You want to make your bomb there, in that coin. Girls inside it.
Well, Matlow. Let's be very clear. Matlow.
Sailors.
Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear.
You go inside there, man.
No, not fellas. Not any fellas. Matlow. Let's say good evening to you, caller. That must be Vadu.
That's Vado area.
Yes.
Yes.
Let me put them. Boy, memory. Boy, you have a memory.
Lo long volume of
Longer
radio,
radio.
Vadu.
Yes, I mean, tell you something. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Yeah. You hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Boy, I'm Peter, you have a memory. That was called the tomb.
The tomb, right.
The tomb.
Lawrence went there. Lawrence went there. Lawrence, Vado. Lawrence ever went there?
No.
Vado.
They say, Molly Jolly 50 cents.
You don't answer me though. I ask you, did Lawrence
No way.
Lawrence ever went there?
No way.
In Lawrence, I don't know Lawrence. I don't know Lawrence.
No way.
Vado.
As a young girl,
Uh-huh.
I remember Riverbank, I come out, you know.
Uh-huh.
So as a young girl, I know I used to see all those macros and those sailors and Molly Jolly. I hear everything there. Just sitting in the yard. And Errol Marco is on top. It was a big Step that was
Yes.
That's right.
right. You remember Big Step?
Lawless.
Yeah. And
The
then you
tomb.
just and you see Molly Jolly was shot in the punch too.
The tomb, really.
Then you shot. And Molly Jolly is not making nothing because Molly Jolly is getting yes. So girl, boy, anyway, Roso had
Roso had it, boy.
yeah, boy, Roso had Roso. I'm listening to you.
Yes.
Baro,
Yeah.
I confirm with
Yes.
your two sisters here, Annette and Avril.
Oh,
We confirm
when
together.
You told me that.
Yeah, we
When
confirm
you
together.
you're going to academy and they're going to convent.
Convent, yeah.
Yes.
Thanks,
yes,
Ado.
you
Thanks,
told
Ado.
me.
Yeah, what someone said, which is true, eh? Which is true. The big step that we know the big step, the tomb.
Yeah,
The
the
tomb.
tomb.
The big step was where everything happened. Life gambled. Really, they gambled quite a lot in
yeah,
that area.
bingo.
Let me tell you, bingo. Bingo was the popular one.
Yeah, boy.
And then there was another thing that they said. Get that? One time, someone won a baby in gambling. Won a baby.
Boy.
I wonder if Claudia Press used to be there.
I don't know.
That was.
I don't know. You know, I put me in trouble, you know.
I'm asking you, did
I
there was
don't-
Claudia
I
Press
don't-
ever there?
I don't
But
know.
there-
There were 11, we're not going to call names. There were 11 ladies. They call themselves 11 sisters.
Right.
Where the matlows
Yeah.
used to literally have
And you
to,
know who the matlows are, fellas? The sailors that, because many, many years ago,
Yes.
warships used to come into Dominica
Yes.
to play football and
Yes.
come on visits.
And especially when we were not independent
Yes,
yet,
yes.
you know.
Where
So
we were-
the British ships
Came
used
in.
to come in and stay 2-3 days,
Right.
you know.
And sailors
And
come
sailors coming down there, and boys used to go. They used to let go coins, like as if we could go and change those coins in the bank.
down. Yeah.
Dive
Dive
and
go
get money.
And get money.
Boy.
Someone want to speak to us. Let's see what happens. So say good evening to you. Good evening, caller.
Yes, Cecil.
Yes.
It's me again.
Huh. I know you know about 11 sisters.
I know you know about the tomb.
Oh, I know that is the tomb is I raised.
Yeah, that's why I tell you no.
That tomb there, you could remember Mr. Poet?
Yes. Press.
That's where Poet was living.
Mm-hmm.
Poet. Poet's funny nose.
Yes.
Yes.
As I say, press.
Des bonbons.
Les
And
bonbons.
you say, listen, you just say, I'm not getting one hot.
I like it when it's hot. I like it when it's hot.
And together,
Call your
man.
Poet.
Uh-huh.
All about call your Poet. Molly, Susie, Aaron Marco. All those people that was there
By the tomb, yeah.
in that hole. That hole there, maybe had 55 rooms.
No, you're right.
55. Did you have a downstairs, right,
tell
Tony?
you.
Did you have a downstairs?
Huh?
Did you have a
It
downstairs?
has downstairs. You
Yeah.
going down to
Cellar.
downstairs.
A cellar.
Seller, yeah.
And when you sit down there, at the time when the warship used to come in, and then how you call them,
The matlows.
Matlow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you could meet all matlow.
Mm-hmm.
Ease up.
There
Yes.
you could meet all matlow.
That's right.
That was just the thing. You know,
The life of the party.
Tony,
All in
Tony,
white.
Tony, you remember? You remember the color? You remember the color of the soil?
The color of the soil, that's it.
The color of the soil. That was black.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
black.
Black, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Very
inside
black.
there, yeah.
Cecil,
Yes.
inside of that hole there,
Oh, boy.
boy, it was something else.
Good fight break out there. Matlow fighting.
Police couldn't body how they want to know. Police could not have
No,
gone
no,
there
that
how
was
they
that
want.
was
That's not a police plot.
No, man. Stay away.
Because remember, I was close to the Carib cinema. Remember, I was even at the back of the Carib cinema
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
by Pit Hole.
Mm-hmm.
And he's from there. He's all kind of, what? If you see, you meet your countryman, just go down there. When you see Morty, Susie, Morty,
Mm-hmm.
Morty Jordy, take them and she bring them in the old days. Problem.
Problem. Thank you, Tony.
Problem. Okay. So that was the good.
That was the
Thank you.
life of the party.
Yeah.
That's the
I mean,
tomb.
that right now there's CIS. We're CIS.
Yeah, man.
Anybody's wondering where the tomb was,
Yeah.
was where CIS.
But they had a very,
Is
but they
at
had
this
a
time.
very nice name for it, eh? Could you imagine?
The tomb.
Then when you go
When you
inside,
go there, you bury inside.
bury
You
inside
bury you
the
inside.
tomb, right?
Yeah, big step and upstairs, you know, and
Yes.
downstairs.
And downstairs.
Wait, wait,
The
once you-
basement-
life.
once you
basement was where the life was.
Once you
So
go
then it's
inside,
like-
Yeah.
once you go inside there, you need to.
And you know, strange enough, these people, they left that area there on Old Street and they went and live in Fly City, well, that's how we call it.
At the time.
No, it's now Silver Lake. And some of them went and live in Kings Hill.
Right.
Those communities
Yes,
were
yes.
actually built from these people who actually living in that area there.
Yeah.
So persons who may not know that, we have to just tell them
Right,
that,
right.
you know.
Very interesting.
And these people had a funny life, you know. They drank, they gambled as the day go along.
And they danced.
They
went
dance.
to the cinema.
Yeah, I mean, not that as if there's music to say music.
Nobody, great
You know,
dancers came from
a
there.
lot of Aaron Mark was a great dancer.
Oh, he one of the
you know.
best.
Claudia Puess was a
Great
very good dancer.
Yeah.
You know, very, very good dancer, Claudia Puess.
Yeah. So
You know, even
Molly was
Molly Jolly.
oh,
Molly
man.
Jolly was
Great dancer, man.
Yeah. I know some of the 11 sisters who came from there, and I know they too.
Great dancers.
You know, and they had to be great dancers because remember they were entertaining the Matlows.
Yeah, they were entertainers.
You know, they were entertaining them. Then you find a lot of them from when there is no Matlow around. Where they hang out? Where you think they would be hanging out?
By the Caribbean cinema, man.
And where?
By Wallix.
By Warlicks.
Yeah, they play the pools.
By Warlicks.
Gamble there.
And they would gamble there too.
Right.
And they would play Warlicks used to have the big gram.
Yeah,
they call it
the jukebox.
the jukebox.
The
You know,
jukebox,
they would go
yeah.
there and drink their rum and become Malcas.
Yeah, man.
And incident even happened in that area where someone got killed, shot and killed.
Right.
Yes,
You
yes,
know?
yes.
Yeah, you know. And so the person is dead now. The person who
That shot,
killed,
yeah.
the person who killed the person is
He
is
dead,
dead.
he dead.
So we can say who it is.
The life, man.
Yeah,
That was
you know,
life.
it was Lordy.
Lorden.
You know, Lord,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the life of the party.
Yeah, there was Warlicks was another part of Roseau
Right.
that keep Roseau alive.
Of course.
You know,
Of course.
keep Roseau alive.
How about Boy Marco
Oh my God, tell us about him.
for food?
Mm-hmm.
My brother, you want bread with bunjao, with salt fish, with smoked herring. You want bread with butter and cheese. You understand that? And you get in those things, and you get in your cold drink, your soft drink, it was juicy and cooks. And you get in that night time by Bobo, you know. Let me tell you now, Bobo is a man. When you see quarter bread,
Mm-hmm.
it's a pound of butter he put in it for you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When the man had the other day, when he cut the bread and he take the knife and he passed that in peanut butter and he slammed that for you. My brother, you know eating bread and peanut butter, eating peanut butter and bread.
Bread, yes.
Let me tell you, man, when we see people talking about nighttime, there's nothing to do. Or you come out and cinema, or you come out from a show. Just go by Boy.
Oh yes, when and the good thing about Boboy is that he allow us to eat. You know, sometimes we are not much at our homes.
Right.
You know, so on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, during the week sometimes,
Yeah.
when more Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
Right.
Boboy would have bread and cutfish. We call it bread and bunjao.
How I
Bread
tell
and,
you,
bread and peanut
Bread
butter.
and peanut butter. You
Yeah.
know, there's big basket. You used to buy
bread
it from
and smoked
Toots.
herring.
You used to buy it from
Smoke
Toots, right? Toots used to get it from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you check. Someone was saying to me about dancing naked in Roseau, in a club called Copacabana,
Coco Cabana, man.
Copacabana.
Cooper Bamako.
You know where the Coco Cabana was?
No, I've never heard of this one.
You see what I mean?
I just born.
You just born Cecil.
By Bata. By Bata, by Banga.
No, you mad, man. Coco Cabana was
Oh.
right by the riverside there, man.
So that means you're
The
lying
Coco
there.
Cabana.
You're lying there.
when we going to school,
Mm-hmm.
when we come out from night studies, you pass by the Coco Cabana. The girls are dancing there, man.
Naked.
Yes. Man. We had life was right in the city, and and many people telling you Dominica is innocent, but that was going on a long time undercover.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Right.
What?
When you go into high school, you have advantage. For example, after Hurricane David and we studying, we never had to get past for curfew here. That wasn't for us here.
Yes.
You studying, you're a student, and you go down by the new market, by the market, and study. And boys and girls go back at their home here. Girls will live with you, but as a man, you have to play man. Those girls not from you. Go and drop them at their home, and then you walk at your home. Police tell you nothing. They know your students, and when I like them police for, they know us when they go to school. They know us as school students, and well, as a Cork Street man, to me, I don't say I know all police here.
Yes. Johnson, you remember
Of
Peter?
course, Hildreth Johnson. And he tell me he got the name Hildreth because his mother used to work for Chester Doctor and them, and Chuck the Doctor father was Hildreth Johnson.
Yeah.
Hildreth, not Johnson. Hildreth Doctor. And that's where Hildreth Johnson got the name. And Hildreth was the guy that shot Tumba. Yeah, he was the guy, he was on gun, and he bam! They had to pay the man, get how much money for shooting Tumba because Tumba was a fella from Landfill, and them kind of things. And when they take what and my brother, boy, we run for times in Dominica, we had history, Cecil.
History, man.
We had a history. And you see, we Roso, we're not the main part of it here. But in the end, where's the police station?
Right by you, man.
Right by us there. So police station is where they put in you. They say put fellas in jail, fellas will go and break jail. So police station was where they house a lot of fellas. When they were sailors. Not prison.
Yeah.
Not prison. Police station.
They bring this the matlows there to cool out.
And a certain time when the training school was up there, where it is still, they had containers, and I think they put a lot of fellas up there.
In the cold room, in the container.
Containers, yeah.
Boy, a lot of things happening in Roseau, boy.
It's having times, right? The police station empty. It's having times. The amount of fellas they having in the cell because of what had happening. You can have an overpopulated police station. So training school not more Bruce now. They bringing fellas up there. Convenience.
Yes. But boy, Peter, you saw a lot of things in the city, man.
Well, it's just that, you see, when you're always in charge of the shop, man, let me tell you, shop is where you get in more talk.
More Beth, not talk, Beth.
Talk, yeah, Beth. You know, just, you hear all kind of thing about who is who father, who is what. Oh, boy, boss, I hear so much talk here, whereby it's have things that I just hold to myself
You
here.
have to keep them secret.
They tell you, okay, Cecil Joseph, no boy, Cecil is tall boy, child boy, Cecil is Peter brother.
In the shop, you get Beth.
In the shop.
But I get those things about who that man is, that man child, he's not that. I say, what? But all the fellas know those things, all he wasn't there. Talk, but if you want to talk, is that Cecil, I learned that in drama. We start with a talk here, and it goes wrong. When it reaches back, it's a different talk. Everybody spin it in their own way. They won't say the exact words the person say, but say what I tell you.
And
You understand? That is how
it never comes back the same way.
That is why when you hear talk, don't go and repeat it. Says that somebody was telling me that, and I don't know about that. Best I don't even talk about it. I'm not in that.
But many times the rum shop talk is right,
Yeah, man.
Many times the rum shop talk is right.
But when fellas in the pressure, talk just come out and come out and come out and
No, fellas go and take their speak easy to say what they have to say.
You had to ease up a pressure.
Right. Especially
if you give them a talk earlier on.
No, but sometimes, man, and I'm sure you experience that, my good friend Piper. When you are under stress from a lady, you go to the rum shop.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And fellas just give you pressure there,
Yes. And while you're getting pressure, you're now starting to talk. And say, those days they talk about the patio, right, Peter? In your mother's shop, they talk about the patio, right, Peter?
Of course. Of course.
Quand ça m'a dit femme ça pas bon. Longtemps moi ça femme ça pas bon ça. No, because there is rum now.
No, the heavy.
Yeah, it's a release now. Non, moi, ça me c'est pour femme là. Oh, ça c'est pas ça, moi. That's how you know, Peter.
Yeah, the patois is not to involve other people.
Yeah, not involve other
I mean, that's
people.
something that is, but I can't tell me I go to school, I do French and Spanish, and I can't talk patois. That's just,
Ça, c'est pas ça, moi, dis.
Yeah.
Moi, ça, c'est pas ça, moi, mon cani. Gardez parce que moi, j'avais femme là longtemps. The rum
So as a young fella in that shop, you hear Beth from old
I
men.
heard that, man. I heard that. You was involved in life.
Yes.
That was the Lakou.
That was the life of the Lakou.
Lakou.
No, Peter. We have to come to your mother.
Mother.
We must come to your mother. Everybody my age, and maybe a little younger, let's say anybody who's 50 years
Must know Mona.
from Roseau, must know Mona Piper.
She was involved, Cecil. I'll tell you about my mother,
Yeah,
right?
tell me.
When Freedom Party came in power, that's when I worked at Treasury from 83 to 86. Freedom Party come in power in 80. My mother was so big in Eugenia Charles' party, she was put in the Lands and Allocations Committee. She and people like Mr. Doctor, Justice Father deceased, Hildreth. When Mona had the power of veto, Mona say, that is her brain, that is her session, nobody can say that. And my mother did that for a lot of people. And a lot of people come back and today and tell me, boss, you see that house I have there? Your mother gave me that. And what happened to you? What happened to you? Why are you doing this? Something happened to you? Come by me and you get something. People love them because they know my mother, she knew well she had 5 boys and 1 girl. And she has to take care of her children. So she did things for us. But we wouldn't like it. Can't say that openly. We wouldn't like it. But then the reality is, mommy not always there, daddy not always there. But mommy do things that her children can live off her. Because mommy was the lady that anybody come on before they have a problem. It's not Beth mommy like. When she listen to you.
What you answer, Peter?
It's not
Beth she like?
It's not Beth she like.
Well,
When she listen to you now, whatever, she might just go and make a package for you.
Boy, if I Mona Piper, you say do not like Beth. I don't think nobody in Cork should agree with
But
her.
she knows.
Okay, yeah.
Nobody in Cork should not agree with
Okay, but when you talk about Beth is like on or say things that was that not proven, but
Boy, listen,
she'll take your business and help you.
No. Mona Piper that we know would get talk in Roseau and bring it to Eugenia Charles.
Yes, that was her job.
That was her job?
Yes.
Because my mom was big in Freedom Party, So she listening, and what's that's important, what would affect the party, would come back and tell you.
Mona would pass. And when she pass, she watch you up, she watch you down. Just know that watch up and
She
down
scrutinize you.
is to bring you by Eugenia, to bring your name by Eugenia Charles.
But not only that, the lady looked just like Eugenia.
Walking
just
like
like
her.
Eugenia Charles.
Walking like her.
Walking like Eugenia
But
Charles.
what was my mother name? Mona Mary Piper. What is Eugenia Charles? Eugenia Mary Eugenia Charles. So there were 2 Marys. The second name is Mary. Mona Mary Eugenia.
I tell you, Mona, when you see Mona say, Eugenia,
Brain getting it.
don't worry about those man, there's labor rights. People don't understand that, Mona Piper used to know everybody in Roseau.
She knew Roso.
And not just know people in Roseau. She knew who was supporting Eugenia Charles. Not the Freedom Party, Not the Freedom Party. There was a difference between Eugenia Charles and the party.
But she knew her.
And when you see Eugenia Charles, when you see Mary decide to bring, when you see Mona decide to bring Eugenia Charles
At
to
your
at your home, official,
all police without outfit go in front.
Yes.
And Mona come and
Mona
bring you
after,
inside
and then
there.
Eugenia Charles.
Yeah. She's
I think
she's the beacon of
someone
the
want to help us on that one. Good evening to you, caller.
Peter, I'm Cecil.
Yes.
You had to come, but missed something else.
Yeah, No, I had to come. That one tickled my vein, tickled my appetite. On that particular point or topic, I had to come and say something. We are friends. We are still friends. I will die and will still be friends. Remember, I am part of the family because I had a child with a sister.
Yeah.
But when it comes to mother, I wouldn't
Mother.
sit down or stand up and hear you talk about the mother. Wasn't that?
Mother.
No.
Go ahead, defend.
Yeah. Your mother, sadly to say, your mother created a lot of bad blood. I don't care how you guys feel about it.
Yeah.
And that impacted me to a great extent. That's why I had to leave the country. I worked in the PM's office before I departed. And there was one similar situation where I was in charge of government vehicles. Those little ponies, from the Highlands. And this is Mr. Bernard Shaw Castet.
President.
Gave me the responsibility to take care of the vehicles. I took the vehicles one Sunday, there were about 7 of them. And I brought them to Cork Street to clean in and out. Because that was my responsibility to have them well prepared anytime they needed them. And when I did that on a Sunday, your mother was against me. I don't know for what reason.
The other child,
I have to say publicly.
The other child, I don't understand you. They didn't know you for her child.
Go ahead. Let's hear your
No,
story.
yeah. But it went further than that. And that is very, very foolish and ignorant of some people. When I went to work the Monday morning, I was called to the Castec office. What were you doing with the vehicles driving around Roseau? That's all I can say.
What was your answer? What was your answer?
What's your answer? He left us.
Right?
That's all he can say.
What was the answer?
You want too much better.
So you see, Mona Piper, if you at those days, it's freedom and labor.
Right, but she
and Mona in Cork Street apparently had a balance of labor and freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So DK Burton was freedom. Mama Tin on the other side was freedom. Coming up, you had Jackie mother was freedom. Eto and them were labor.
Mm-hmm. So it's a mix.
On the other side, Mary mother was labor. You know, Mary talking about short coolie Mary was labor. The Howland Shillingfords or the Shillingfords were freedom. There was somebody living the downstairs. I'm trying to remember who.
Downstairs.
Mm-hmm. Rennick Thomas and them were labor. A mix of labor and freedom.
Of them, yeah.
Pamela and Ivina, they were all freedom. Paben was labor. Baben was labor.
Boy, he was a Potaway.
Yeah. Patrick John, children, wife, labor.
Labor, yeah.
Dovers were labor. So you had Mawili, Curtis' mother was freedom. Mamila was freedom. So you said know them still, I still know them.
Yeah.
So there's a mixture.
Oh yeah, there was some balance.
And
Karam is labor.
And Karam is labor. My brother Mona used to ensure every week she bring a story to Eugenia Charles about the Labour Party people in Cork Street and the Finsling.
No, but she keep in charge.
Mona was one of the persons that Peter, if you do not know, when the houses were being built in Bave State, Mona was the chief bottle washer who would have said
who to get houses.
No, not who to get. She couldn't say that because that was labor. She was saying that these pigs would not even live in the houses. Mona was the chief person saying that in those days. Mona. You check? So Mona and Eugenia Charles had like Beth.
Oh, she like.
Eugenia Charles like Beth, you know, Peter.
But
and Mona was the real person to bring the Beth out.
Well, she did her work. She had a work to do. So she had a work.
At the time, Terry mother was big freedom. Terry father, he was working in the post office.
No, Terry father is singing.
Al Capone.
Al Capone.
No, the person that Terry mother, Harry was freedom.
Freedom, of
big
course.
freedom.
Oh boy, Harry.
Big,
Oh,
big
my.
Desmond Roberts.
Desmond Roberts, man.
In Cork
Oh
Street.
my goodness me.
I mean, there's a balance. I tell you, there's a good balance.
There was a good balance.
Yeah, in the middle of Cork Streets.
But when she-
labor, the people in the shop I was talking about Tico and them were labor.
It's a balance.
Yeah, there's a balance in those days. But
she had a lot of influence, and she was very committed to the party.
Oh, she was very committed.
Very committed, very loyal to the party.
Don't say anything about Eugenia.
Eugenia.
I hear that now. Coming to what Peter Piper, everyone knows Peter is a poet. I did a poem sometime last week, yeah? Irving McIntyre. That's the name of the poem. You are Irving McIntyre, a natural hard worker who now lives in Mount Prosper, a valley village without hot water. You were born and raised in Forkani, a village that once, that was 6 months, was a home for me. From work is part of your money. Farm work is part of your money. Being a medical doctor plus money to you is a honey. Scholarship to high school. Dramatist, sportsman, teacher, call it you rule. Nobody can call Irving McIntyre a fool. A bad man is called a bull.
Wow,
That's
I like that.
Yeah.
And Peter himself is a poet. He's a poet.
Published poet, my brother.
Published,
5
published.
books. And I have books, but you see, while I want to use that opportunity to say, well, if I go and publish another book, I want to make sure I sell 500 books in the week, in a week. If that's not happening, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, I mean,
What are the names of the 5 books that you
intend to put out?
No, you wrote?
Piper's Dilemma, putting the pieces, the proper pieces of the puzzle together in the Commonwealth of Dominica. The next one would be Favorites. And the third book, Mr. Andrew introduced to me, boy. My book, see, boy. Favorites and the Best. That's before and 5. And the third book, Mr. Andrew, things to me. I did take note of my book. I don't take note of that.
Okay.
But for sure, I have 5 different booklets published. Yo, and that's on my pocket, yeah.
Very interesting.
No, Peter, you said that you work at the
Treasury.
Give us the story of you being in Treasury.
Okay, I worked at Treasury from 83 to 86. Before that, when I left school in 82, I started work at Paul Green's Wholesale, 1st of November, 1982. Then that time I did the business subjects. So now when I got passing it, I left Green's Wholesale because I have a job at the Treasury. And I went to St. Kitts for vacation. And that's when St. Kitts got independence. So after the St. Kitts independence, I came back, work in Treasury and work. And I worked there for 3 years.
Influence of your mommy?
Huh?
Influence of your mommy?
Yep, with me, of course.
Of course.
That was Freedom Party in Power here from 80. And I worked from 83 to 86. So while working at Treasury, I got an accident on my motorbike in 85. But anyway, I said, I took vacation. And that's 86.
Where did many people who know you now, especially young people, may not have known that you're a motorbike rider?
What type of motorbike you had?
I had a 250 XLR,
Wow.
small R.
Honda?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that was
A powerful bike.
when you're playing the pistons, that more power. And I could run like a 5. I could run the fellas on the 500. People don't know that, but because of my mother and the accident I had, they don't do right bike. So like I don't forget. I just live in that. People say, "Piper, you going on bike again?" Just chilling out. You know,
Right. No, where you had that accident?
by Coca-Cola.
That
time I had a team, SMA GS, St. Mary's Academy graduating students. That's my team I made. And Freddie Graham was, I think he sponsored that team for me. And I had Corbett Elwin as the coach. And when I had my accident, I think they had to give Duncan Jerome, the old custom guy,
Rudy.
my classmate, Rudy, yeah, they had to give him my position on the team to play still. And then after that, that was just it for me in basketball here. But basketball, my brother, I can see that on the air right now. The fellas listening that when that played with me fellas like Coxie and Corley and Ewart and all that, you Martin can tell you that. I was the sharpest shooter on the basketball team. The sharpest, but Cobb tell me dead now. So it doesn't make sense I talk about it. He was a man that would just be keeping me back. Fellas like Coxie telling me that. Kent would tell me that. Sammy Garvey would tell me that. Boy, Piper boy. Cobbett just squeeze you, you know. And Cobbett know. When I take that ball and I shoot, I go tell my hero in basketball is Oliver Burton K-Bot. And K-Bot had a style. And just how K-Bot was shooting that jersey style,
So you play top.
Yep, but then that'd be a guard position. For Cobbett put me at the back as I train as a forward man, you know, as a you know what I mean? A beast man, you know. I was a beast, you know. I have a little height on those guys. I was a beast man, you know. But I could be top. If I was top, I would attack more. Like Coxie, like Kent Williams, like Corley.
Euseb
was a center man.
Euseb was a center man.
Martin was a center man, but we could turn in between. Center to base. So when we had the back,
in that time, St. Academy had a very strong team.
But we never lost.
With Sammy was a very good ball man. Coxie was a very good.
Coxie played national.
Yes, you know.
We had Ting, and we had Fletcher Libla.
Fletcher, yes. Oh, I forget Fletcher.
Great
Football
man.
and basketball.
Yeah, Fletcher myself played for St. Academy.
Fletcher's a devil.
Yeah.
Fletcher.
Yeah.
Fletcher.
Yeah, Fletcher wasn't easy. Both football and basketball.
And Fletcher father is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Willie.
Willie.
Yeah.
And Willie is national coach. And Willie tell me he played all sports too, cricket, football and basketball.
No, on that motorbike, when you had that accident, were you alone on that bike?
Me alone, yeah. I was going to play ball at SMA in the afternoon. And I just...
And you remember where you had that accident? Outside, I know you said by Coca-Cola factory.
Outside by Coca-Cola there. On that side, on the left going down. So it was a thing whereby I saw the transport coming. It's either I drive in the transport, I hit on the wall. What would you do?
Hit on the wall?
No, boy, for you to die on the wall. You go in the transport. That's why I got a knock on my head. But on the wall, I would die. The wall is wall, stone wall out there, you know, not block wall, you know, that part of station, and I think that part of the wall a certain time. Remember they were opening the road.
Yes.
And they shift that part of the wall where the accident by grammar school. I remember that time they shifted the wall.
In that same area, I think another guy died in that area.
I
think another guy died in that area.
Okay, when Jerry had the accident.
Jerry White?
Yeah, it was lower down.
Lower down.
And Albert was with him.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the life that we lived, you know. But many people do not know, as I said, that you were riding motorbikes, and I mean you could stun, you could literally lift up your motorbike. I mean you're good at that.
Yeah,
so people seeing guys wheelie, that's I was looking at the name wheelie. I mean people seeing young guys doing wheelie now, but Peter, that's who we used to watch before as boys.
What was that?
Put that up on
put up his motorbike, you know, that 250, just bring it up.
When I just
that
had
red,
I
that
got
red
to Canada and I was wheeling for this white man and they're showing them their wheelie, they force in and pull up. As you let go the clutch, you just exit and fly up. And that was my wheelie. It wasn't power wheel and lift up, you know. It's the clutch. As you let go the clutch, you just you let go that clutch and just hold that and
you used to do quite a lot of magic motorbikes. People don't. I mean,
did you do?
I mean,
stunts?
Peter, I don't know. Yeah, man, Peter.
Yeah, man, I was a fast boy, you know. Come out, you know.
Yeah.
Matt Jerry and them man is fast. I had that time to play, you know.
You remember Matt Jerry?
But I
Jerry
know
White.
Jerry, yeah, I know him.
So Peter,
Peter
Peter was a clone of Matt Jerry
So
on motorbike.
So
Exactly,
Matt Jerry, you were part of Matt Jerry, man.
No. Peter, Matt Jerry is older than Peter by far. But Matt Jerry was driving motorcars like a crazy man.
I know him.
Yeah, so what Jerry
Peter.
did, I do that on bike.
Peter was doing this on bike.
But what?
Yeah, man. Peter was amazing to look at.
And I live in right on Bavin State, we and have to fly down.
Yeah.
So, you know, Bavin State fellas had to watch that.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Peter could ride motorbike like. I mean, the young boys today, Peter have to tell them his story. I don't think they'll believe him.
Without God, without helmets, you know, my brother. Without boots, you know. And because I used to watch Jerry Brisbane and David Armour. These guys with son, they lift up their bike from the bridge and go right up by non-school with that, you know. Just bring that like that straight. And that's scratching the road, and just, but Jerry Brisbane good. Jerry Brisbane and David Armour. These guys.
I'm sure many people, not us, but many people would have forgotten Jerry Brisbane was riding motorbike. I mean,
Sadly.
yeah.
See, Jerry and them guys who live in Miami. And Jerry showed me so much things about himself up there, man. Jerry was just, right now, Jerry up to the valley, up Castle there. By Roland's, the piece of land there, he bought that. And that going down, and then the river going across to Trafalgar. Jerry has a nice piece of land there. He's just developing and developing and developing. But he's not developing it for us, it's for himself, for whatever.
No, Peter. When ordinary boys in Roseau was trying to get girlfriends in Roseau, ordinary girls, you had one of the elite children.
That's just life. Hard, not have.
Huh?
Hard, that's
Hard.
not have. Okay, let me tell you something, Cecil. When I went to school, okay, I'm not a bad looking fella, and then I'm a nice person. So let me tell you now, girls would be just lining for me. And you know what SMA, I was always going to convent high school. And I, no boasting, but when I went to school, I had a girlfriend in all those schools. And probably more than one.
Most of the SMA guys, we did that.
Yeah,
I had one in Wesley High School, I had one in Convent,
Grammar
I had one in Grammar School, I had one in St. Martin's School, the vocational section, you know, especially the vocational section, you know. So many of us had, in those days, and even the panel I just called a while ago, you know, would have had a girl in each of the schools.
You're acolyte, you're in the church.
It's natural, you know, Cecil. It's a natural thing, you know, my brother. Yo, tell me something. You're hungry and you're passing and you're seeing a food there. You're seeing a nice fruit there. And there's nobody for it and you're hungry, you know, take it and eat it.
Yes.
Come on.
No, Peter. Let's go back to you and your girlfriends. Let's talk a little bit about that. Cherry Lodge. How you saw Cherry Lodge in those days as a boy growing up? How did you see Cherry Lodge as a hotel compared to the other guest houses and so on around Roseau?
Okay. Apart from me checking Cheryl, before I was checking Cheryl, my mother would be sending me to bring sub money to Cheryl mother. Okay? They will have their sub. So it's a thing I'll be going inside there and whatever. When it's attraction and someone attracted to you, you can't stop it, you know. You cannot. So that's just how it happened. And I can't say more, yeah.
Right. Let me ask you, how was the hotel at the time? How was Cherry Lodge? Because I know it has a reputation.
Yeah, man. Yo, Cherry Lodge used to be ranking.
All sports.
Yeah, because let me tell you, when it's sports time, that is where the sports girls come in. The netballers come in, the cricketers come in, the footballers come in.
All.
And Cherry Lodge was full. Full. But you know, when you have families, it's like our family, kind of our shop. That done, and everybody in the scene, on my own scene, I live at Wharton Weaven. I tried my little business. I tried something. You know, you have to sell things to people. You don't go and sell what you want. You sell what the people want.
That's right.
Somebody saying to me, Peter, that when you can maybe help in correcting or giving more information on it, Mona had to stop him from riding because that year was too much for her. One child lost his leg. That must have been a big brother.
This man, yeah.
A grandchild died.
As well.
And another had a nasty accident.
Yeah.
Almost lost his life. How true is that?
Well, the part of the accident, there's certain things that people never tell me. They say like I was in a coma, and they didn't want me to know certain things. But I think I got the chronicle that said I had brain injury. Let me tell you something. A man brain who is injured, Cecil, you find I talking like someone and my brain injured. Boss, I can recall things and tell you. How is my brain injured? I don't have no brain injury. It was just sometimes I just forget or I just Sometimes I react to people around me. When you pass and people saying things about you and they say it for you to hear, you either forget them or you just play them off, or the human thing, you just respond to them.
So they would say that Peter mad.
Yep. That's the thing that happened since 85, since my accident in 85. But then, trust me, Cecil, that kind of caught down. You know why? The 5 books I published, now they say Peter is a brain box. Peter is a smart fella. You know, head making books, Peter made 5 books. How can Peter make 5 books and he's mad? He's a madman, but he's making 5 books. Madness he should have in it. You know?
Yeah. During the accident, you went into a coma.
That's what, tell me. That's what it,
How many days?
I don't know. That's what I want to know. They want to tell me.
They never told you.
They never.
Never told you. Okay.
Wow.
So,
You never found out.
that's a part then. If they tell them people cut it off from me, they cut it off. Who that were nurses, they're not nurses again.
Okay. So you never got to know.
I never got to know, and it just stays, and that's just it for me. I can't worry. I didn't die here.
Yes, I know.
I'm more
So
alive than alive.
Which means you not even the part of the accident people don't want to tell you.
No.
But I remember the accident. I was going down, and then I saw that red van for flick coming. So it's 2 things I tell you. Either I hit in the wall, on the stone wall, and kill myself, and it would still jam me on the wall, or I just had to go in it. You understand?
Were you at top speed?
Huh?
Were you at speed? Did you have speed?
Yeah, the speed, of course. And then the guy had speed. But hear that. If I'm going on my left, he's on his right. So he was wrong. He was on my left side, which is the side of the wall coming down. You understand? But that same guy, I think I saw Mr. But Mr. used to drive for flick and Mr. reaching a kind of, I don't Mr. dead no, but I got nothing, no, I don't give my mother or whatever, but that I want to know about.
Right.
And that I can't worry about. You see,
I agree.
dead matter, dead, you just have to let
Let it go and
on.
move on.
You can't bring back what's gone.
Gone. I would wanted to just ask him another question, because I think we just glanced it off. Was your mother at ever one point when she retired taking care of the former prime minister?
Of course.
Did she ever tell you about? Did she write any books? Did Eugenia write any books?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Did your mother say to you anything of interest about Eugenia Charles, like knowing that
Having worked with her.
she was so close to this giant of a woman? You know?
What I knew was that when I had my accident, Eugenia Charles would come into the hospital, and if all that knock I got on my head, she just hold me like a little child and talk to me. And I have to be just cool. Like when Eugenia Charles comes, my mother had come there and talk to me, and I really cool to Eugenia Charles. But it's just that the job I had in Treasury, she was involved in it. That's my job and Mr. Carlyle. Mr. Carlyle was my teacher. I came out second in his class, and he just pulled me inside Treasury, and that's about it.
Let's see what that person has to say on the telephone. Good evening to you, caller.
Hi, Cecil.
Yes, good evening.
Peter said he was in a coma, and he's not a madman. I was in a coma in Canada for 2 months, and am I a mad woman?
You stayed in a coma for 2 months?
Yes, it was an accident, a big accident in Canada.
An accident
Yeah,
in
she had a
Canada.
big car accident in Canada.
Yeah.
In Canada. So what I'm saying, yes, I had the head injuries. They had to juggle my memory, because I didn't even know who is my sister, who is my daughter, who are they. But that's very good. I was in Canada, so I got the best care, but that doesn't seem because I think I am a crazy woman. Do I act crazy? Do I?
No, some
crazy?
people recover from
and
coma.
you have a good memory.
Of course, Varo. The people are trying to say is that oh, Piper mad, Piper get accident. I tell him to come what's up that. You know, I'm not. You know, what I'm saying I'm not that person. I'm not that. And then,
No,
so
but
what I
because
started
I'm
to do for them,
listening to
Vado,
you.
publishing. When I publish 5 booklets, no, a madman can't do that. And that is
I'm
why a lot of them
listening.
stop saying that. But some of them will say that to me for spite. Me says I'm
Right.
madman. But then they cannot prove to me what I'm mad.
No.
How mad I
You're
am.
going to say
Yeah.
I am a crazy woman?
No,
then?
no, no.
Do I
No.
act crazy? Do I sound crazy?
No.
You don't sound mad.
No.
You and I speak all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You
You're very,
can be a little freaky sometimes.
Nah, because
I
that's
got
the same thing I
you.
was saying. Sometimes when they get to you, you have to. You're a
React.
human being, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
You know, so when you
will
turn your
say
back
that
and you walk, either you're scared or something.
Yes, I'm that what I find with that accident let me I just tell you straight up what I feel how I feel about you, you know. I don't cover up. You know, like as if you know that's it. I find that accident make me bold. I am a bold person, I will say that. I tell you what I have to tell you. That doesn't say you're a mad woman or a mad man.
but well, they say
Don't worry about
yeah, no,
Thanks, Vado.
And
No,
not just what I was
right, but-
share that because I was in a coma in Canada. When I,
Vado, I conquered that long time. I
But-
conquered
Thanks,
that
man.
long time.
And the thing is, Peter, you move on. You move on, you know, you dwell on that and say,
That's
"Oh,
correct.
You know what I mean?
Cry about
I cannot. I don't have time for that.
but
I same here, I move on.
you move
You know,
on.
but it comes back, you know, it comes the memory of that whole accident.
Right.
For me, it comes back. You know, it comes
Yeah.
back to my sometimes I just sit and wonder and say, why? I am how blessed I am that I am alive after all what I've been through. You
And
know?
after that, I come up by Vado
And then
way.
I can
In the
become
party by Vado.
emotional, but, you know, yes.
Huh? In the party by Vado and let go myself. It is me and Ufa and Terry Bertrand.
That's when I was in Canada.
Uh-huh.
You know, but you know, you just move on.
Move on.
If I keep talking about it every day,
No.
I in my life away. I talk, and you become emotional about it, and it's time to rehash everything. And
So we'll just give thanks.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Okay, good
Yes.
night.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah.
All right.
Someone said to me, Peter, your mother was a praying woman,
Of
Yeah,
course.
very deep in the
Of
church.
course.
a church woman,
Of course.
a woman of God, and she was praying for you.
All of us.
That is one thing we can say about Mona. She loved the Catholic
Very,
Church.
very much. But one thing about his mom as well, boy, your mother would dedicate herself, I don't know if you remember that, to go down by the Freedom Party headquarters and do the barbecue. Did you remember that?
Of course, but I was part of it, you know.
Oh, but you were up there too.
Not there with her doing it, but when mommy finished, I would be in the shop for her. When she finished, I cannot close the shop before she comes.
Right, because
and then I have to go and help and cleanse my mother, you know, my brother. Say, Mama, more.
Let's take a call, Peter.
Yes, good evening.
Cecil, I've been trying to reach you for a while.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Oh my goodness, Mr. Peter had head injury.
Yes.
I don't believe that this man remembers things like he has an elephant's mind.
Yeah. My head didn't burst now. This I got a knock on my head.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he remembers quite well. He's bright.
He remembers everything. I admire him.
Thanks.
Thank
yes, Cecil, earlier on when you started, you were talking about, it's Africa Day today, and you were talking about some of us do not consider ourselves to be Africans. But I think all of that is because of ignorance of who we are as a people. Because Africa is the greatest continent where everybody wants to go and reap the resources.
Yes.
And then he was talking about Traore now, who is a young man, 37 years old.
Yes.
And the ancestors have raised him up for such a time like this.
I love that. I love that.
No woman,
I just love that
look at
statement.
Cecil. You're
oh my
so
God,
emotional.
you make me excited about that statement. So when I have discussion in the future, that's what I'm going to say. That's how I'm going to start it.
Oh, yes, and they cannot stop him. It takes young people to rise up now because the old crows have been so many puppets of the West, So the young people have to rise up and take their stand so Africa can be great again. So I am also asking you, with all of this information that you and Brain have, the history, that you need to propel that toward the young people,
But I also spoke to the Africans themselves, because there are a lot of Africans who believe that we are not part of the descendants.
Right.
They believe that we are a different black race from them, So we have to also speak to them. But that's not the program for tonight.
A lot of them are ignorant too.
Right.
Yeah,
but you're right. You're right. One of the things that we have to do, one of those good days, Cecil and myself, we'll have to look at Africa.
Yes.
And how Africa got divided by the Berlin Conference.
Yes.
Which divided Africa among the Europeans. But that is a topic we have to deal with.
Right.
Separately.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I mean,
No.
we have the knowledge, and you all, have it. Our young people need to know who they are. Yes.
Yeah.
But the program tonight is very, very good. One of the best.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Yeah.
You know what we need?
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You know what we need? Dominica is agricultural country, and then we go to school, and the subject agricultural science is optional. That is so bad. You see agricultural science compulsory from preschool to university.
You Peter, just hold, stick a pin there. You are so correct. Yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, I was speaking to someone on the phone in the US, and we're having a conversation, and I'm saying to the person that the bad thing that happened to us going to school was they gave us agriculture from 3rd form, and it became optional in 4th and 5th form, and we never come to understand the commerce or the economics or the accounting part of agriculture. So our parents sent us or sent their children to school with the monies of agriculture, the banana. But you know what? They never allow their children to go and do business under the name of agriculture, to come back and manage agriculture for them.
Well, one of the things...
When come to high school,
Besides
come to high school, agricultural science is compulsory. Why can't it be like that in all schools? That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
And not just secondary, but from primary to secondary. Because we're an agricultural country.
Yeah.
What we have, come on. I mean, only not only have to put that on, man.
Right.
How we start from primary school in agri, right to 5th form, and then if we continue, so we do it and we train in that. Because when you go under A-level, we'll just drink that like water, and then we'll have a higher level of completion of exams. We'll have a higher pass rate, and we'll be more agriculturally inclined. We can't be saying Dominica is agricultural country, and so many of us do go to agricultural classes. I never did agricultural science. As I say, it's optional. It cannot be optional. It's supposed to be compulsory. Like we have English and religion, that should be compulsory. Like for us in SMA, talking about
SMA religion is compulsory.
So if religion is compulsory, let's just make agricultural science compulsory, but SMA and before SMA. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I want to take you on.
Yeah.
I want to take you on. I agree with you. But one of the things about agriculture is a lot of us, is the legacy of slavery. Farming. Well, when you talk about it psychologically,
That's what they made us to believe.
well, that's
what they made us to believe.
That's what we were,
We were
very
taught.
early when you go to high school.
Right.
At the time,
Right.
you are taught to be looking forward to becoming a doctor,
Right.
a lawyer,
nurse.
an engineer, a teacher,
Right.
or something like that.
Yes.
But for your family who sent you through their agricultural work to the school, they never wanted you to come back to the farm.
But if you remember, students who actually were sent to school because of the farm.
On farm money.
On
money.
farm
Banana
money.
money.
On farm money. You know what? They will all tell you for summer, when summer is on, we have to go to the field.
Right.
So from there, we should have taken that advantage.
But only in summer, but at a time when you graduate, they don't want you to become a man going back on the plantation. You get your 5 or 6, 7
and I have to remind the person that look at what peanuts is doing. You know what I'm saying? Look at what now apple is doing. Look at what now tomato is doing. You know what I'm saying? We in our Dominican, I happen to be in a particular position now that gives me the authority, or not authority, gives me the opportunity to hear the number of young men who's coming to the particular office to go to Canada to do farming.
Yeah, they go there as farm workers during many of them.
So what makes you think that?
But the thing about
because they understand the money value.
I agree with you, Peter. But the fact is that we have to nurture that philosophy into making us understand that agriculture is just like any other profession, where you can earn your living through farming, and farming has many what I would say different branches. You know, because you can become an agronomist, the different, you know.
Yeah, what someone said. Good point, Peter. A bigger curriculum on agricultural science should be implemented. I attended the DCHS. Today, my agricultural science education has paid off for my career in the USA.
And that's the only school that's compulsory, come to high school. Only school. I don't even have it. So if I'm wrong, help me. But that's the school I know. In community high school, you must do agricultural science from 1st to 5th form. What can be seen in other schools?
Yes.
Very good point you raise. It's a very good point, because, I mean, agriculture, even if we have our CBI, but the fact is that agriculture is one of the mainstay of the economy, because we are an agricultural area.
When our weekend pass, what we live in the month now, for people to come from the country with their food.
Right, so I agree.
Was to buy.
And I noticed
go ahead. Go ahead.
And I noticed now, from the last thing I read, in terms of the amount, because farming is not only on the land, you know. Many people think farming is on the land, but you have what is farming in the sea.
Yes.
You know, aqua farming.
Yeah.
So we have to begin to propel that in terms of the curriculum and make our students understand that farming is a very valuable thing for us.
Yeah, I think we need to
exploit it.
No, Peter. I cannot not speak to a man from Roseau and not ask him about underpower. Tell me about underpower.
Okay. Underpower, Cecil, you know the steps, right? When you're little man, you go, the first thing you have to start on the first step and jump down. You can dive. And then as you come bigger and bigger, you go on top and you think in the water. That's all, you know. You know what I mean? You have to graduate. You cannot just come and go on top and go down in the water.
Too deep.
My brother. And look at that now. Across the river, they have houses. So you always have to come back at the end of the step and hold on. Now look at how it have houses there now.
Yeah.
You know,
and what about the tube life in the river?
Well, I see a lot of tubes because of Karam and tubes for friends.
So you're not one of the people that would go up Silver Lake.
Go up Palm Grove.
Yeah, Palm Grove.
Well, I already gone with my big brother Desmond. We have the big tractor tube and little tubes, and we go down to the market. But that was Cork Street fellas.
Someone's on the telephone. Let's see what the person has to say. Good evening.
Hey, Cecil, what's up?
Fine, man.
Good evening.
Hey, my brother Peter, what's going on, Peter? Billy?
Yeah.
I want everything cool?
We are just easy, eh?
Yes, man. But Cecil, you don't think because the agriculture is only in community high school, as people say. You think it's because they have the land, they have the space so they can go and do the physical part of it?
That's a
because
point. That's a
the
point.
only high school in around Roseau that have land they can also go and plant and do things, try different things. You don't think that's the reason
That's a
why
point.
they have it compulsory?
But but I'm saying where the grammar school was, they could have made the land available, especially between the wall of Windsor Park and the grammar school. They could have made that available for agriculture.
Well, no.
Well, yes, they could, but community high school
Has to
have
that.
it land there, not try to get it thing done.
But as I'm saying, the Dominica Grammar School, as I remember, Peter, remember that wall that separated the grammar school from the Winter Park,
Yes.
and that huge space that had a lot of
Holes,
flamboyant
holes in it.
trees.
No. They did some farming on a piece of land where they have the Coca-Cola factory just in front. There. Focus
I remember that.
Focus
That
did
I was doing that.
Focus did that at one
That
time.
I was doing that. Not
and,
Focus.
and then they had some citrus where the boys were, most of the agriculture, most of the boys, the flamboyant trees, they planted it, and they had some grapefruit and oranges in the area heading down to the technical wing.
Okay.
But I agree with you in terms of, agriculture being part and parcel of the school curriculum. But you need to do the practical aspect of it, not only theoretical. So you need some areas where you can do it, because before, most of the primary school had school gardens, And now I know they have a new type of agriculture, the greenhouse agriculture, where you have your greenhouses. Now many schools are giving greenhouses where they do their vegetable planting.
So all right. So Peter, we're going to come back to underpower. All right.
Right.
The caller just asked us about
Yeah, look at
underpower, Peter. So you said that you had that opportunity to bathe underpower. Did you do lalin?
All that is just compulsory, Cecil, because you must go right down. And you don't got to hold your ears, but you have to know when to come up and how to come up. You can't just come up, fly with them and just drown you. So you have to know to go down and take your time and come up. And that's where lalin coming in. And when you're bathing in underpower, what they always have in underpower, it always have melee in underpower. They always have melee there, Cecil. Always, bathing there or not bathing, they always have melee. That your man would come and fish their melee. Then them virgin fellows would come up there and fish. So when you're bathing, you have to know how far you can reach. But when a crew of us there, we not seeing them fish on top, but them fish below, and then a certain part when the river breaking, coming down, they go in that way.
Yeah.
When we come out, they come in their spot. It's the fish spot that day,
Yeah. So when we disturb them, they would go either lower down or higher up.
Up they go in, up. And the lower down would be, the Bavy State would be bathing for and again. The same one on that side, one on that side. And the steps. You understand? The stone steps.
Yeah. I wonder. I must try. I wonder. No. I wonder if that step is still there. I know that they built the alias fastest in the area where we used to actually pass to go down that step.
The step is not there.
It's not there.
No. Hurricane took that when the river came down.
I must take a walk.
I must take a walk there.
I must take a walk at the back of the. No, I must take a walk at the back of alias fastest to see.
I
Because
went there.
remember that was an area where they used to graze
cows.
cows.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mr. Chewit. Mr. Chewit used to graze his
But
cow.
they don't have the step there anymore.
Virgin little fellows would pass away on top in the hole.
Yes,
and come down. No people like us that would pass that way from Roseau and come up that way and leave.
Right.
They have a way that's pass and come down in
So
that
guys
hole.
who coming from the gardens would pass in the hole.
Right.
And guys who coming from Cork Street and other parts
Would
would
pass
come down on that
step.
step. Yeah. So I think it would be nice if I will try to
But
venture.
somebody can call us, because...
But people see me bathing there, I like people that coming from the apartments that they can come and bathe there.
But someone told me again, as you said, it's not there. You know?
I looked at it.
Yeah.
When I went down there, I noticed the steps.
Because a lot of people do not know. A lot of people do not know that where alias Fasses is at this present time was the area where people graze cows.
That's right.
You know.
Yes.
And they used to go get the limes by El Rose and Company right there, and to graze your cows, because cows used to eat quite a lot of limes. So we used to see a lot of those limes in that area there.
Yeah.
You know, and cows about
you
know. So I remember that like yesterday, and the UE Center, There was the power
the power station.
power plant, you know, and then later it became Sifokol. Peter, you went there, right?
Yeah. Part time.
Yeah.
Peter, how was, by the way, talking about Sifokol, when you went there, did they still have the old building? Were you in the little house? Or
No, part time. Part time, so we were doing classes at grammar school.
Grammar school. Well, can we say grammar school, or we should say at what you call the park name? Oh, I forget the park name.
Windsor Park.
No, man.
Gardens?
The one grammar school ground.
Technical wing.
Technical wing.
Oh, you went in
No, not technical. Technical wing where Community High School was. The
Right.
grammar school itself. That woman, Deirdre Clarendon, she was the A-level.
Because at one time they had it also at technical wing.
Yeah.
And
At the back of the grammar
back
school.
of the grammar school.
Yeah, man.
What did you study up there in
No,
Cecil?
I was doing accounts, principles of accounts A-level.
All right. So you moved away from the sciences, as you said, into the accounting section.
Into the accounting, yeah.
Okay.
And at the technical wing, remember that they had
exactly, technical wing. That we doing
technical
mechanic, and
department.
so
You see,
that's for the same
technical
part of
wing.
the same.
The technical wing.
Fifth Junior college.
Yes, so sometimes we get ourselves lost by just using the word technical wing.
Yeah,
but
technical
it's
wing.
a technical
That
wing.
was where them
Yes.
mechanics would have been.
Yeah, right.
Remember that the thing for the
So guys
yeah.
did electricals, guys did mechanical, you know, anything technical the guys did there, you know.
But I know when I went there at the grammar school, we had what is known as the metal workshop. We had the wood workshop, and we had agriculture. Mr. Sevre taught agriculture. Mr. Robinson did woodwork, and I forgot his name, did the metalwork aspect of it.
And Peter's right, Community High School later on when
Mr. George did the metalwork. And so we had three components when I went to the grammar school.
What about your life in Windsor Park?
Well, when Windsor Park, let me tell you something. We have a shop. So when I go, I must play. I must play for our team boys. I must play.
Basketball.
Football in Windsor Park. We must play. When I went basketball, come on. I go there, see me, I play basketball for him. I don't must play. When I go, you madman. Neckers is my hero. And at the same time, I see me, I played for Flames junior team. Played for Flames, yeah. Fans so be able to take me. You see fans, so you see Manu do black. Manu big you up here, boy. When you see I come and I was making all my problem on the field for athletics. Manu take me, Manu Lou Black take me and tell me, boy, you have to come and not karate, but I have to do certain warm-ups, you know, with Manu. Certain things, and then Manu make sure, well, yeah.
Long distance runner.
Man. When Manu on them black belt karate, and Manu more than my mother would be like that. Manu's sister, Claudette and my sister like that. And I think Claudette would be the godmother of her first child, Kamala, in the States. So we had a connection, man. And Malo Black, I'll bring some money for Malo Black for my mother. And every time, not any time, every time I bring some money, I must get my cake. My cake. And that was those Eric's cake, you know, those coconut, nice yellow cake, boy.
So which means you know Mr. Lou Black very well.
Of course. I gotta tell you about Mr. Lou Black. When Joe lost his foot, right? On by when he's selling people, Mr. Lou Black was coming down. And we buy Norman Leighton and that part of deal by the liquor non-school. Boy, Mr. Lou Black, watching moon, it was a full moon, and Mr. Lou Black, boy, that moon, that is a sign. Boy, Cecil, I get cold, and Mr. Lou Black and Miss Granby, man, and them man no sins. Mr. talk about, not the accident to Joe, you know, but something was going to happen. And Mr. Lou Black, power, kept me back a little longer in Cork. That time, the headlines, when the headlines printing, that'd be Algernon Luto. Algernon was the man printing the thing for the Chronicle. And Algernon had a time for that to come out. And when because I wasn't coming out, I take a walk down. And when I come back up, I didn't see the accident, you know. I heard of the accident, you know. Joshua James jammed Joe on that step here. Or Billy was there. Or Elvis was there. Them man they can, but Billy dead. Cyrus, Khaki Man, these guys go by Joe. and piece of bone of Joe fly on his
I
head.
try
by
to
the-
wonder sometimes, in reference to Khaki Man, whether is that accident that caused Khaki Man
Lose his eyes.
to wonder.
Nah, man. Khaki not really wondering, you know. The thing about Khaki, and I was watching Khaki as an insane person. Because Khaki is a wicked footballer when it comes to dribble. And Khaki is a fanatic about Jeff Joe.
Yes,
When you
he
Khaki,
sings,
tell Khaki
he sings
about
all
Jeff
Joe
Joe.
music.
And he'll talk.
Yeah.
You know, so because of Khaki, he's a little stuttering in his tongue, manners have Khaki, but Khaki's a cool guy. Khaki will go and do message to anybody.
And Khaki came from Cork Street, eh?
Of course, between Cork Street and Fieldsden at the back
Yeah.
by Rennick and them there.
Yes.
Yeah, Cork Street Fieldsden.
Yeah.
And Khaki was a guy that would sell paper, like all of us would sell our papers, and Khaki would sell 1,000 papers and make his money. Khaki can count. It's just that since them fellas, whoever it was that took out the eyes of Khaki. No, but Khaki's a man, you can put Khaki and sit there and talk to Khaki. Nothing wrong with Khaki. It's just that Dominica is too small for Khaki. Take Khaki and send Khaki in the big city. Let Khaki do 5 years and come back.
No, Khaki lives in Bath, for persons wondering. Because, I never... Clem...
Yeah, Clement Samuel.
Clement Samuel is his name. Yeah.
Clement Samuel.
Yeah, Clem. We used to call him Clem in the early days, going to school. And Clement Samuel. Let's take that caller quickly. Good evening.
Yes, yes. Once again, I had to call because I'm just kind of part of that history regarding an accident that took place with Joe Gabriel. It was a Friday night.
Yep.
And Cecil, yours truly was in the center. I was sitting next to Joe. And it's just because of a guardian angel. I know if Joe name was Joseph and my name was Rennick. Bro, I don't know. All I heard was blow. And I just heard somebody say, my foot, my leg, my... That was it. We were sitting at the conical steps. It was what, 2 steps? 1, 2? Yeah. So we were just sitting waiting for the processing of the paper. They had to edit and look for errors. So after 8, 9 o'clock. And we were sitting there, a young boy just talking. And then I don't know where that vehicle came from. But actually the driver lost control.
He was drunk.
And it just... Well, I don't want to say it was about, but I know he lost control. And that was the impact. And the poor boy suffered, amputation. And you know what happened to that after? Again, I was telling my hero, Monica, the usual way of survival. And then when Joe recovered, you know what the man everybody was looking for? So all my sales went down. Everybody was talking Joe. So I said, bye-bye, people. Bye-bye. I wasn't making anything other than my customers.
And Rennick, it is so strange that Joe never stopped selling papers.
Well, that's good for him. What else could he do? At that time, nobody would employ you. So you have to find your own way of employment. Whenever time I come to Dominica, I see the young man, I always stop on his cup. But finally, before you end your program, you forgot one character in Pong, and his name is Jaffa. The man...
Herod.
Yeah. The man had used to make his local sandals. Buy new pairs of shoes, buy Bartel Native. He always had a penknife, rotating or swinging in his hand. They would use that penknife to cut the front, the sides, and the back, and make a sandal. So that was it. Yeah. Good night, gentlemen. Good program, Peter. Take care of yourself.
Same to you.
Brother.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Rennick.
Yeah. Japa. How could we forget Japa? I feel I'll always mention Japa when we're going to talk about Pong, because I want to Pong,
yeah.
to come into Pong.
I'm going to tell you about Japa. Japa had a brother, I think. What was his name again? But apparently, them fellas, they used to always have trouble. So certain time they send Japa England. Japa used to look on the port down there too. The same port down there, you know what I mean? Down Kennedy Avenue there. And they send Japa England. When Japa come back from England, that was just it for Japa, you know. Japa caught his sneakers and them and make his sandal. And Japa doesn't have shoes and no socks, no boy. Yeah, from that England thing. And he had a lot of oil on his body.
It was when he came from England, he started to do that, or before?
Huh?
Before, not before he went to England. I always...
No, when he came from
It's
England.
after he come from England, he doing that.
But Japa just like his...
Yeah, because Japa was related to Mabonto.
Yeah, Mabonto is his grandmother.
Mabonto is his auntie.
His auntie?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Japa more than Mabonto, two sisters.
Two sisters.
So what Claudia was...
His mother, I think, is Yvonis.
Oh, well, okay, well, is his auntie.
Yes,
Yeah.
So I know,
Right.
I know him.
Yeah.
My Yvonis, my very Mabonto.
Mabonto, yeah.
And my Yvonis is modeling mother.
That's right.
So Maudlin would be Japa cousin.
Brother.
Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah.
As I met somebody this week, and the person told me that that Mabonto was her grandmother, and I didn't know that, and I gave her all the story of Mabonto.
Yeah.
She's a young girl, and I was giving her all the story about Mabonto, and she's like, "Wow, I didn't know that. Nobody told me." You know, it's important that we tell them. So yes, Peter. So let's go a little bit on Pong. Pong, you said that you did business in Cork Street, but you consider yourself as a Pong man, not a Cork Street man.
Pong I sleep in. Cecil, let me tell you something. Before,
so hold on. Where your front there is not Cork Street?
Yeah.
But your front there is also...
The front is on the Cork Street side, but it's in Pong.
But it's the entrance to Pong.
Let me tell you, our Pong address was free roads, you know, Bath Road, Kennedy Avenue, and Cork Street, you know. Our area at the top of Cork Street, the Pong. Pong was Bath Road, Cork Street, Kennedy Avenue. And how come Great Marlborough Street wasn't in Pong?
It was an entrance to Pong too, you know, saying that.
Yes.
Yes, by Jimin. By Jimin. But if Jimin is Great Marlborough Street, that would have been Pong too.
Michael Dealers,
If Michael Dealers is Pong.
And go by Terry and them. Go by...
I wonder what would have been Terry and Shirley and them and Patricia address.
Pong, man.
Is it Kennedy Avenue?
Pong.
Pong,
man. But you have to know where Pong is, because Pong have a lot of people.
So where would Lodi address is Pong?
Pong. And Franklin Moses and them.
Franklin Moses be Pong.
That is Pong.
Millie, my grandmother, would be Pong.
Of course.
That's the heart of the Pong. Yeah. Where the financial center is, that's for people that wondering where we're talking about. Where the financial center is, that's where Pong was. So
Pong.
people... the
flow tree.
And the flow tree was in the yard of Roso Boys School, Roso Mixing Plant School.
Mixed school.
And where's the big mango tree?
The big mango tree?
Still there.
In Pong.
In Pong it is. There are two of them. There was two of them. Grafted and the grafted, and the Nutrifina has the grafted mango.
It's still there, the grafted mango.
Yeah, man, that's still there.
The grafted, yeah.
Yeah, that's still there. It's still there. No. In Pong, you had Mr. Loblack.
Yep.
A lot of people do not know that Loblack. He actually came from Granby.
But he lived in the Pong.
But he lived in the Pong area before he went to live
on the riverbank.
On the riverbank. And I think a lot of people may not know, but where the financial center is, the western side of the financial center, the end part of the financial center, that's exactly where Mr. Loblack used to be living.
Yeah, that's right.
So as I tell people, you have my Alan, my grandmother, Ma Loblack, and the Lodi. That's the financial center. At the front of it would be the hills, Peter.
Yeah, the hill.
Yeah, the hills.
Yeah, the shop there.
This guy Maya and them home.
Maya, Ruben, and them.
Ruben, you know. Maya since then passed.
Huh?
Maya since then passed, right?
I think he passed, yeah.
Yeah, you know. And so Maya and who else?
Okay, watch that. You see the hill by your granny there, Mamile?
Uh-huh.
Where that be on the next side would be those Prevosts.
Yes, the Prevost. On the other side will be the Prevosts.
And Chile.
Yes. And Trifina.
Yeah,
Trifina will be on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trifina building home is still there. You know, Baboy, Baboy. What is Baboy's surname? Baboy for Joan. Yeah, I'm trying to remember Baboy's surname. But Baboy used to Joan used to be living there.
Right.
Pafeli used to be living in that area. You know.
Pafeli and Jonas sisters.
Yeah, they're two sisters. Yeah. So you had
And their mother.
And you had the Bostons. The Bostons actually was living in Pong too. So Pong had a number.
Peter Boston.
So Pong had a
and then the other Bostons again on Cork Street and Bath Road.
Right, that's correct. You know.
His father. But I'd like to say big up to my doctor, my dermatologist. I think he's the only one we have in Dominica. He went to SMA.
Who's that?
Warwick Ignatius Sanford.
He went to school with you?
Yep. When I was studying, it was a 4th form, and you see me say it like that now. He had his ear at the back, you know. Yeah, his ear was at the back. Come back and tied his big physics book. Yeah, man. Them tell that man good, you know, man. Dermatologist, I mean, he's the only one in Dominica where. And he's there on Queen Mary Street. So when you have your little
Independence
problems.
Street, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, on Independence Street. Close to the...
By
close
Roy
to,
Lakou. By Benji.
By Benji.
Opposite Benji.
Yeah.
Roy
Benji.
And Roy Lakou upstairs him.
Roy's upstairs.
Upstairs him.
Yeah.
And then in the middle.
Yeah. So you have Dr. Williams, then him, then Roy Lakou. Well, according to Peter, we're Benji.
We're Benji, yeah.
Keith Benji. We can say Keith Benji father.
Of course.
Yeah, you know.
Let me tell you, little boy, you couldn't go there and play now, boy.
No, you know, Peter. Where I want to ask you that question because we're talking about Roso to a certain extent. Where Didi lived, you remember?
Yes.
Where?
But exactly straight across Benji, that house that was there, and then there's a store there.
Not Chris, not across Benji, across Eric's.
Eric's then.
Eric's depot.
No. Eric's.
Yeah, opposite
and after them two house. After them two house.
After the Tolo house.
Yeah, that house that would be there.
There's a store now.
And that would be where Carbon was.
Right, that's where Carbon was himself.
Right.
Yeah. So Didi, a great basketballer, lived there.
National.
So national basketball player, lived in that period on Queen Mary Street at the time. Now it's called Independence Street. The children today will know it as Independence Street. You know, it was another popular street though, Peter. In the Queen Mary Street.
Go to.
No, I'm not saying it was a popular street. You know, a lot of the political life took place in the Lago area.
In Lago.
Yes, in the Lago area. Let me hear what that person has to tell you, Peter. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Cecil. 1 second. I'm listening to you.
You're getting feedback.
Let me tell you, Pity, Didi lived in peace in Kingsland
first. Independence Street.
Pardon me?
Before he left for Independence Street or Queen Mary Street.
No, before he moved there, his mother and his family moved to Independence. In Kingsland, there Didi live right by Pete's there. That's where
that veranda house?
First.
That veranda house.
Pardon me?
That veranda house.
By Gregory.
No, in the yard.
Oh, inside of the yard.
He's like Tony can tell you.
So he was Tony's neighbor then? He was Tony's neighbor?
Huh?
He was Tony's neighbor?
Kind of, but he was more in the yard. Tony was in the yard too, you know. Okay? Because Juliet and I are friends, and we all brought together. That is where Didi lived, in Kingsland by Caribou Cinema, close to Frosty, in that yard. That's where Didi lived with his mother and grandmother, and his cousin Joseph and Jaguar. That's why I know Didi first, little boy.
Yeah, Joseph was like his sister.
Huh?
Joseph was like his sister. But he's a cousin, but he's his mother only child.
Yeah, Joseph Jaguar was his cousin. Joseph and I attended St. Martin's School together. So Cecil, not Queen Mary Street.
No, I never said that. No. I said I asked him. I asked Peter if he remembered where Peter lived on Independence Street or Queen Mary Street. I didn't say that his first place he was living.
But I am correcting you.
No, I'm saying to you, there's no correction in that. I have never said that he wasn't living in Kings Lane. I'm just asking
where
him
he was living on
where he was living
Street.
on Independence Street.
Okay.
Not where he was living first.
But, okay, well,
Thank
I'm telling you now, by Flossie Joseph,
Right.
that he had, he's from the Borgia Roseau Central, okay?
All right, then. Thank you.
Right.
All right,
All right,
bye.
By no
Bye.
man.
Yeah. So as we were saying in on Independence Street, well, Queen Mary Street, we can see, had a lot of life, especially Lakou. You remember Lakou, Peter?
Of course. Let me tell you, what we had in Lakou, apart from political and Piper Step and before Jackson was who?
That's Shillingford lady.
The red lady.
Yeah, slim, tall
Slim,
lady.
slim.
Shillingford. She was a Shillingford.
And let me tell you something, man. Lakou was life.
Mm-hmm.
Lakou was when fellas come downtown and sell.
Mm-hmm. And that shop was still rum selling, eh?
When fellas come down and sell their thing and they boil it,
Mm-hmm.
they sleep in Lakou and next day they have to go back up with nothing.
Yeah. Coconut.
They sell and
Fish.
make all their money. And rum just drinking.
Is it by Mahamlet shop, right?
All about there.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from Marmalade shop, it had the fountain.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That by, you know what I mean? Have to stop and shop there.
Yes.
Just before the thing there. Yeah, that little thing there and boss.
They have a Chinese shop there now.
Right. Lakou is life, my brother. And in Lakou now is where all children passing from school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the bridges, when they had to mash up bridges, man have different places to pass. But when you walk in, you can walk here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We didn't have bridge by Windsor Park. When they mash up the bridge,
Yes.
the Silo Black Bridge, when it was being built, where we had to pass.
You're talking about on the
The
only
other
bridge.
one.
The only bridge that we had was the West New Bridge. That's what we used to
Uh.
call it, New Bridge. The New Bridge. That's the only bridge we had at the time, because they were doing some work on the other one. And you'd also remember Peter in Roseau, the bathrooms, those toilets that people had to, because remember Roseau didn't have bathrooms in those days.
One
Just
on Queen Mary
recently?
Street. One on Queen Mary Street by the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
The other one at the back by Windsor Park.
Mm-hmm.
And you again.
One on River Street. Remember the one by River Street?
Yeah.
One by Gardens.
And the one at the back by Windsor Park there.
And
before,
right up.
before Technical Road.
You are right up,
And look
right
at
up
that
by
now, they
Technical
go
Road.
the toilet there. What they put there was about 50 to buy ticket to go inside
Yeah.
thing.
Peter, for
Where the
true,
toilet was
for
there.
true, Peter.
And there was people want fight for their
For
ticket to
two-
go inside Carnival City.
And we forget that way. For real, Peter. I'm saying that like yesterday. Yes,
No,
there's
no,
this-
but Cecil, we
Yes.
know it. That was where the toilet was. That was where it, and I know what they do. They just
Transform
just
that.
flushing, and they just close that up, and everybody can fight and buy their ticket there. If you not a ticket at the back, is official to go inside. We Carnival City.
Peter, you just give me a wow there. I'm shocked. To be quite honest with you, Peter, I'm shocked. I just have a wow there, like for real. I forgot that.
You forget that.
I honestly forgot.
Of
that.
course, Cecil, because that happened so quick here. Apparently, there was a flushing toilet. There was a flushing toilet, but it was going down.
Yes, I think
It was going out.
they used to use they used to pull something and it.
No, whatever
flush.
it was then.
Yeah, I think
it
that was
wasn't a pit toilet staying there. So they just closed that off, and that wouldn't have no scent in that, and that's why they build that there, and people will worry about that.
Yes, for real.
There,
Peter.
all of us will be passing when you go out Windsor Park and go and be in the river way.
Peter, but that's good memory. I'm sure in our discussion as boys, that one would have never remembered.
Well, I always have that in my mind, and I always know that. I always used to tell my old fellas there was the toilet boy. Only one fight for ticket for Carnival. No, did not there again.
Ah,
Oh, you willy, you
Boy.
willy, you willy, you willy.
Peter, you just hit me with this one.
What's that?
Well, the one that Peter just spoke about was where you remember there was a toilet higher up by the Winter Park area.
Yeah.
Going to come to high school.
Going to community high school.
Yeah, going to
yeah.
technical wing.
And
Yeah.
You remember that toilet there in the
Yeah.
entrance there?
Yep.
What happened to that toilet after?
Well, I think they demolished
They
it.
just
No.
condemn that and
They condemn it and they put up
Carnival
the booth.
City ticket.
The booth, that's where the booth was.
And
Before what, man?
that's the main part to Carnival City.
Yes, the entrance, the main entrance.
The
and
main
right there,
entrance,
right there, you buying your ticket.
And you passing grammar school, you
Yeah.
official.
Yeah. I remember it because I used to pass up there. The toilet was
Yes.
still there. Remember,
And-
I went to Roso
and,
Girls.
and Peter, I forgot that clean.
Remember, I went to Roso Girls School, you know. So I could stay in the Roso Girls
Huh.
School and see the toilet. Yeah.
Wow.
By Beachy.
By Beachy. Right. Because Beachy was by the Roso Girls School, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And
By
then
the-
they put it by Fortune
By the health
Hotel.
center. By the
That
health
health center,
center.
yeah.
Yeah. Then after
Brain. By the health
Yeah.
center.
Right.
Yeah.
What was there? What kind of tree was there?
where?
Popsicle.
No man, cacas.
No. A mango tree.
Where you talking about?
I'm talking by Beachy.
By Beachy. But Beachy have 1 foot and years bad like that now, boy. Look at fellas, you couldn't go
Because
there
we
and
couldn't
get
go
what
and get
you want
mango,
now.
you know, because he was there.
Oh,
That mango tree. That's where we used to go.
okay. I was thinking of the wrong beachy.
That's the beach.
I was thinking of the
You
female
forget
beachy.
Beachy, Cecil?
No, I was thinking of the female beachy.
No, but the female
No, but-
beachy live in
Yeah.
Steve Street
Yes,
at one time.
still in Stevens and then Bath Estate.
And Bath Estate.
Yes.
Because remember, she used
Yes.
to be playing rounders.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember beachy
Yeah, man.
like yesterday.
Yeah. Because Beachy and Tawuste.
That was your mother.
That was it.
Thank you very much.
That was the mother.
I know. I know the
Oh, she played that ball.
Rounders.
Wrongers.
Hey, but that lady was a strong lady.
Very
Very that
strong
moved
woman.
there.
Mhm.
And listen to me now, man. The kind of the way it was made, and she walk all her life with that. If I
With
mind
that,
her.
yeah, boy.
Mm.
And she walked with that beachy, made out of wood, eh?
Yeah.
It's not like now they have those, what they
It
call
was-
them?
It was the wood and,
Wooden
and,
beach-
and a piece of sponge on it and,
inside
and a
of
piece
it,
of
yeah.
cloth.
And you tie
Yeah,
that,
and you
in,
tie
and,
that.
and she walk with that.
Yes, and beach used to work well in that.
And right now you can imagine.
I see a number of people like that in Dominica. You know, in those
what they're
days.
using now, they false leg.
Yeah.
Some
If
fellas.
they don't get all the fella from Mount Prosper that lost his leg so
Oh, yeah,
long,
he-
and he had them little
he-
crutches.
I
I
think
don't
he-
line. Winston.
Yeah,
George
Winston,
Winston.
he saw that too, right?
He
Winston
just- no, he never had
never
that.
had that. Okay.
See, that man, before the length of his crutches, I don't know why people not making a contribution. Give him man a higher crutch and that.
Yeah.
The man tall. He's 6 something. He must tell that man like 6.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Very interesting.
Give him a crutch that for his height, man. He have to bend and walk, but he just flyer.
Let me give him a one. Did you ever play coxswain? You know what that, Cecil?
I trying to remember coxswain.
No,
Is
we
it
play that.
the thing where you put the flowers together and
You pull them.
and you pull them apart?
Yeah, yeah.
Yellow.
Yeah, coxswain. Yeah.
You ever play that?
Yeah.
You too young for
No,
that.
no, Peter would play that. Peter myself is the same age.
you
Peter
would play
too young
that?
for that now.
Of
A lot of
course.
us play that.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, man. Like I remember that.
Did you play knots?
Of course, man. Cox
Blue
was the,
Che, Blue Che.
Cox was the area of that way.
Very good.
On
That
the
was it.
sidewalk there.
On the sidewalk we play
Yeah,
our knots.
yeah, man. Cox was the place of that.
You fly kites, Sam? Did you
Ah! Come on.
I just asking.
Cascade.
Very interesting.
Uh-huh. No, Peter. Tell me how you look at Dominica now, growing up when you're a boy. How do you now look at Dominica?
Cecil, all developments you give, trust me, Dominica is developing. Personal. Forget about our state of mind, but from what it was to what it is, that's not people that leave Dominica in 1970 and never come back. When they come back, they lose. You understand what I'm telling you? Dominica going places, my man. Because let me tell you, there's so many projects happening in the place here. Things going on. When you want to buy materials for construction, you have to be by the place 6 o'clock. You understand? You want to buy blocks, you want to buy cement, you want to buy boards. You have to be early. It's not that you can walk anytime and get, because fellas from the countryside and almost all those dumpers waiting, and they come with people bill already to take and bring in the countryside. And let me tell you, my brother, construction is happening in Dominica. If you don't want to be aware of that, you don't want to, but it is. When you really want a tradesman to do a thing for you, you cannot just get one like that. No?
That I know for sure, Peter. That I know for sure.
So what is happening?
Even
so
to cut your grass.
You know understand? Where the tradesmen, they occupy. Look at up by me in the valley there. Look at Loader. When you go and you watch the transport that parking there of the workers, you'll believe it's guests that there, you know. There's those fellas that work in there are fellas that were out of Dominica, different little countries in the Caribbean or wherever they were. And when you have these guys here now, with what they know, my brother, the place is going. If you think you're not going, well, leave it and go somewhere else. But Dominica is turning slowly and surely. Not slowly, but surely. Slowly and surely. Dominica is going places. It's we now, we there, that will not be there in the next 100 years again, or any time from now we're not here, to make sure we write something, we make a directory, put on something, so who coming after us will follow.
And that's good. Someone just said to me, and I want to tell the person, yes, read Joseph, whoever you are. When you come to Dominica, the answer is yes. I can tell you that much. The answer is yes. Whenever you come, we'll have an interview with you to tell us all about Wesley. I'll be happy to talk to you about Wesley and its growth and what it was like in the good old days, you know. So yes, Peter, you're correct, because we spoke about so many different things that many people or children. How many children you have, Peter?
Should be that.
5?
From sources here, twin, and one.
So you have 2 sets of twins.
Well, take your time.
A boy and a girl twin.
Take your time.
But I have to meet them.
Peter said he has twin, and one.
How many twins you made, Peter?
A boy twin, a girl twin, and a girl.
So you have 2 sets of twins then?
Of course. That is on my genes, you know. My grandmother is a twin, you know. My father's mother was a twin.
What?
And
then
I heard
that's how
you said,
twinners come.
I heard you said earlier on that you had a brother who had
Desmond has twins.
So
your parents had twins?
No. My father is the child of a twin. My father's mother was the side of a twin.
Okay.
So in other
and
words,
my brother, Dr. Piper, is the side of a twin, Davidson.
So the tendency is that if a lady is looking for twins, then you may be the right donor then.
If they want Piper blood. If they want Piper blood.
But
you can force it.
Yeah, because basically if you're making twins, twin, one, then the possibility of another twin.
You don't think that was triplet coming? What we've not any first in the triplets in Dominica?
I like that.
I could, 3 or 4 could come here.
So you know, so in other words, you see these things are hereditary.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Yeah.
They told us that in biology.
Yeah. So
a
if you make twin, then another twin, one behind the other like that. 3 sets of twins, boy.
Well, I know on my brothers, I have brothers that are twins, and I know that they have a brother who has twins. You know, so Joe Tex has twins, and Dave and Derek. They are
yeah, Dave and Derek.
Yeah, boy Piper, boy. No, I know. It's really hereditary.
So somebody said, Mr. Brain, Upa Feb.
No, but it's true. If a man have twin the first time, twin again, and twin a fourth time, you must be twinned.
Yo, it's genetics, you know.
Genetics,
it's on your genes.
You can't run from that. So he's a good donor.
You're a good donor for twins, boy. Cecil donor.
I know, he's a good donor. Yeah. I also agree with you.
Anyway, I want to tell my partner how they perform in Brian Rock and Family. James Bunoy pa England.
Where is he performing tonight?
In Chicago.
Oh, Brian is not here.
Yeah, no, Brian is not. Brian does 16 Dominican, 16 in the States.
Okay.
Right now, Brian is performing for, I think the council has them, so it's a free jam.
Mm-hmm.
They paying them, and people who have to pay to come inside. And that is the second jam, I think, from he gone back.
Okay.
And yeah, man, Brian is Gizi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brian had all kind of things here. Brian play with Exile, one Brian play with Swinging Style. Brian play with everybody. Way.
Yeah, he played with Exile one.
Yeah.
Until his mother had to go and get him at the age of 16 to come back
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's them and that wooden stools here,
Yeah.
Cecil. And that same guy, David John Baptist, we're talking about that, play for Alpha Blondie there.
Mm-hmm.
David, when you see coming out from grammar school and he passing down, he always stopping and watching them by wooden stools there.
Just hold that for a while. Someone's on the line to you. Good evening to you, caller.
Peter, I like the way you ended your last statement. Dominica is gradually improving, slowly and surely.
I'm in trouble.
Say it again, Peter, before you leave.
Renick.
Dominica is developing slowly and surely.
I like
But
that.
On another note, however, we spoke highly about SMA. And when we attended academic institution, we were fed and nourished with a healthy diet of education. That has helped us sustain ourselves, our way of life, and even today where we are in various positions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm using the opportunity right now to echo a clarion call, starting with you, Cecil,
Mm-hmm.
to support an ongoing project. That is to repair and build the brother and Jimmy wing. There are a number of alumni out there. They just boast about the school. We were fed. We are talking. Now it's time for action. We need guys to come on board and provide some financial support.
Right? But whilst you're
Spread the
there,
joy, spread the word.
whilst you're there before you go, and not only about the school, I feel we have a responsibility as well, you from the alma mater, about the what I would say, the upbringing, not the upbringing, the nurturing of Brother Egbert Jermaine. He all needs our help. So I just throw that out to you.
Correctly. Because wherever I am, wherever I go, what I tread, finally when we went to school, we don't say Roseau Big School, we don't say Roseau Big School, we always end up with
SME.
Smartest men alive, we keep it alive. Bring the goodies out. Help support the cause. That's all I'm doing, expressing that clarion call. Not only to you on radio, but to all the alumni. Wherever you are, come on board.
Yes, for
and
sure.
support that project.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, my brother.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thanks. Yeah, thank you.
Slowly, but surely.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We SME
That-
forever,
that's-
you know.
you just gave a good slogan. Another person said,
Smartest man alive.
no. In terms of slowly
But surely.
but surely. That's a very,
Very
beautiful
good.
slogan.
Yeah, I like this slogan.
And someone said, at least someone speaks positive about Dominica. Thank you, sir. Some person tell you thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Another person said, Dominica right now is the fastest developing country or island in the Caribbean. Slowly,
I like that slogan.
slowly,
But surely.
but
But at least you're moving. You're moving.
slowly but surely, slowly and surely.
Slowly but surely.
All right.
But I mean,
I want to make sure you
slowly but surely. Yes.
Last caller, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening.
Hello, you're live.
Hello?
Good
Hello,
evening.
you're live.
Hello? Yes? You hear me?
Yes.
Right, I live in Guadeloupe, but I'm from Dominica, and I can tell you the all history, all what they were saying there. It has some at true, it has some at fall. You understand me? Because at my age, I was in Dominica, and there was the old bridge. It was in red iron.
Yes, that's right.
You understand me? They broke down that bridge, and they put that new bridge. And in when you're bridge, do you time? There was a spring bridge.
Yeah.
So when you're passing on the bridge, spring with you, and you see holes below the river. And I can tell you about all roads because I'm an ageable person. I hear you all talking and those kind of things there. Okay? But I tell you, Dominica is a place, it's a very nice place. I did enjoy it. I had a wonderful time. I heard you all talking about Dominica and ancient things. But I can tell you, okay, at the days of my time, I was young. I see things. I don't know if you remember France, remember Coupel, remember Donald's shop, Hamlet's shop in Lakou. They were selling fish and food. It was a place like a market. You understand me? That was a place like a market. My mother died there. Because she was drinking at the time. Okay? Now they changed the place. They put everything. It was Baptist Bank. It had Piper Step. And where you see Marge build that a big study.
We lose the person, it seems.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Peter,
Yeah, nice.
as we come to the end, tell us what you think about the program.
Yeah, it's all right. The people telling you at least that was one of the top 40 time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, myself, trust me, I do come in the thing and want to know I dragging my foot here.
Mm-hmm.
I always want to excel. I like to win. I like to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So if I know had a good program, thanks to the listeners for listening and those making contributions, and Cecil and Brain. It's a good program. And keep it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lakou.
Lakou. Well, I must say, you really impressed me. I enjoyed being with you, Mr. Peter.
Yes, bro.
It was a great program. You did extremely well. I know you like to win. I would give you an A.
Well, I was there as a teacher. When I come to the school, you was a teacher. No?
Yeah,
When I done in Pottersville, you teaching there later before us, you know.
Right.
And then I know you playing football in the park for since second division.
Well, I tried my best in school as well.
But you know what I mean?
So I know you did well.
I know your father. Well, you see, doing well is just a thing you just have to do because your parents will send you to school for you to come back and teacher put you outside. I don't think a teacher ever put me outside in school.
One last question I wanted to ask you before. Were you ever flogged by Mona? Did she ever flog you? Did you ever get a flogging?
Let me tell you. My mother lashed me, not beat me. My father never beat me. I'm not a blues child.
So she just lashed you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Fair
right.
enough. Have a good night.
Thank you.
If your mother lashing you, have to defend yourself. I get a lash already.
Yeah.
But not blues.
All right. Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, thanks, Cecil.
Mm-hmm. No, someone said try to get someone from Wesley, get someone from Granby, and I'm sure they're hearing it, so they can just call us so that they too can give their.
Did we have anyone from La Plaine?
Yeah, we had La Plaine already. We have someone else I have to get from La Plaine who wants to be on the program. Some persons are saying that Peter, they rate you A, A plus. Someone says give thanks, Rastaman. Yes, I. So I just want to say to you, Peter, that it was a very good program tonight, and I want to endorse what everybody is saying. And it is amazing how we can really get information out of people, and tonight we were able to get some good information from Peter. I want to say thank you so very much to Peter, and I really want to tell everybody that next week we will not be on because we are going to I will be going to a major rally, a rally of my political party. So I just want to apologize right now to everyone that we will have the following week. We will be having the program. We will not be having it next week Sunday. So I just want to say to all the listeners, thank you so very much for staying tuned with us. The Lakou program is an important one so that we can understand our communities, we can understand our country, we can understand the development of our country. And tonight we had Peter Piper from Cork Street. Next time around, we'll have another interesting program. Once again, I want to say thank you and God bless you, everyone.
President President Trump says he's granted the European Union another month to conclude a trade deal and avert the imposition of new sanctions. He threatened on Friday to impose taxes of 50% on European imports, but following a telephone call with the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, Mr. Trump said he had agreed to extend the deadline for negotiations until July the 9th. Here's our Asia business reporter, Katie Silver.
There does seem to be some progress. Von der Leyen, for her part, said that it was a good